Hello.
Well, hello.
Podcast.
My heart rate is up for some reason.
Well, you just took a run to the bathroom.
Yeah, I did, and I took a very forcible wee.
A very forcible wee.
30 seconds in the podcast, and I already gave a reason why people should click off.
If you will, a Wii U. Except you wee.
Yeah, except I weed.
Yeah.
I weed.
Right. We've got stuff to talk about. Let's just skip over the, let's just skip the preamble. I don't know if we're feeling it today.
Answer. Dude, I don't even know. Here's the thing. This is going to be like one of the most... never mind. I was going to say it's going to be one of the most freeform, at least for your discussion, I feel like.
For my discussion? Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, for people who don't know who the fuck we are.
Right? Yeah. Okay. I'm James. You usually go first.
Yeah, but this time I let you because you're the host of everything usually.
Yeah, but your name's on top on these videos.
Oh, okay, so that makes me top dog. Okay, cool. So I'm Skylar.
Yeah, and I'm James.
Look, I unironically like take off your pants and jacket. Okay, let's just get that out of there.
Okay.
I don't know. I just thought like, what's an embarrassing thing to say?
No, we both liked it. It was my recommendation.
We should have a freeform podcast and just talk about like the bad shit that we like or some things that are embarrassing. Because now I'm just trying to think about what it could be.
You know, there's I guess not very soon, because I picked this month, but there is going to be a thing coming up where you get to pick a random topic. So what do you guys think? I know no one listens, but
people do. This could be
our unpopular media opinions. We already kind of did that. We did that with games.
Maybe we should bring in a third person and do that. Maybe talk about games too. It's just anything, whatever.
Unpopular opinions. Okay. Yeah. Well, there's an idea. Hopefully something to look forward to. But for today, we have something I recommended first.
Yes.
A movie.
You're going first.
Yeah, a movie. A big, very popular, very pop culture-y movie. Fight Club.
I already made this joke last time.
We're talking about Fight Club.
Yeah, we're talking about Fight Club.
Yeah, we're breaking the first two rules of Fight Club.
Yeah, well, we can't do that. So, I guess we're moving on to my topic then.
Perfect.
My recommendation.
You know, that would have been hilarious. Like, if we planned that.
You could have just went with it.
Yeah.
You could have went with it. It doesn't stop you.
No, I want to discuss it, obviously, but that would be hilarious. So, David Fincher.
It'd be hilarious if there was like another thing where it's like, first rules, don't talk about it. And we wreck them both, and we're just like, well, we can't talk about these, so see ya.
Just like 10. If we ever have a podcast that lands on April Fool's Day, we'll have to plan for it.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Did we?
I felt as though we did, but we didn't do anything. Anyway.
I don't think that would have been possible. Thinking about our timeline, but that's not important.
Right.
David Fincher directed.
Yeah, guys, I've never seen Fight Club.
Yeah.
That's what I should have opened with, the embarrassing thing.
Yeah, now you have.
Yeah, now I have.
And this director's done a lot of great stuff. I think I already talked to you. I think I mentioned last week. I rattled some off. Seven. Zodiac. He just made a new movie that we aren't talking about called Mank. And he did some other great shit that I can't think of. Gone Girl. And the girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh, okay. That's the only movie that I recognized.
Yeah.
List.
And The Social Network. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, right. And I've seen that.
This is a dude who did The Social Network. Very different movies.
Yes, very different.
Starring Edward Norton as unnamed and Brad Pitt. Right. And Meatloaf is in this movie.
I saw Meatloaf in the credits. I was like, what?
Yeah, Meatloaf. He was in the Tenacious D movie also.
Oh.
He's a rock star. From like,
of course he is.
From
like what normal person would have that name?
Yeah, from like the 80s or some shit. I don't really know much about Meatloaf, but the funny thing is the character he plays in this, which is Bob. It's against type, I think, for him.
Why don't we? It was him.
Yeah, why don't we get into what you thought?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is that I only saw this yesterday.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't thought about much of it since watching it.
Okay.
I thought about it while I was watching it, but that's why I mean it's going to make for an interesting discussion because we're going to be talking about it here.
Yeah, talk
for all of that. All right, so he's obviously getting up for his cats again.
No, I'm
I
back.
don't even know where to begin is the problem. I need you here to drive this.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just have a bunch of notes on it. I don't know what general thoughts.
General. Not what I expected. But
No,
it is.
it's not, right?
But it is what
Yeah.
I expected. It's exactly what I expected, but it isn't.
It's nothing like what I expected because I also saw this pretty recently, a couple months ago, and I'm not gonna say how or why, but potential spoilers for a big TV show on the USA Network right now. It's a lot like Mr. Robot. Not what I thought going into it. Yeah, and I'm not gonna get into why it's like Mr. Robot, so you shouldn't either. But
Well, I mean, we're gonna talk about it.
yeah. But
It's gonna be here. Spoilers ahead.
I'm gonna leave out some specifics of why it would relate to that. So we're only spoiling Fight Club.
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's just all you ever hear about Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club.
Exactly. That's the meme. That's like what started it all.
So you think it's a movie about fighting, and it's not like really.
Well, I mean, I didn't know why it was written in soap on the poster, but then watching it, it's like, oh, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, so the other unnamed character, honestly,
Main
him
character.
I pictured being Huey in from The Boys.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Edward Norton, he's kind of got
Yeah.
like that I get what's the word?
That face
Yeah,
and that voice too.
yeah, that kind of not the alpha man or whatever. Well, he's a beta. He's a beta cuck. No. Yeah. So like basically he needs Brad Pitt's character to be his foil.
I don't know. There's just a lot going on in terms of character here.
There is a lot. Yeah.
And obviously before I knew the twist, I was like, oh wow, Tyler Durden is an interesting character to analyze, and then it was just like, nope, never mind.
I was gonna ask you, did you figure out the twist?
No,
Oh wow.
but like, I guess I predicted it. I didn't anticipate it, but I predicted it because on the I think shortly after like there's a few scenes with him when they're like, I was just like, wow, they're really opposing each other.
Yeah.
Like they're really like opposite sides, and it's like it's kind of like, you know, a bad part of your head, I guess, psychologically. So I guess that's what it's throwing down, and then it just went full on that way. I was just like, oh, okay, not what I expected.
So I did pick up on it the first time I watched. But that's the thing. Whenever you think you pick up on that, you like hyperanalyze everything to see like, so am I right? Could that work? And you spend more of the time figuring out like if you're in the right ballpark than really like paying attention, which is kind of a problem. I don't like to figure out what's going on. I don't like to try and outsmart the movie because I think it takes away from the experience. Like, just let it happen to you. But that said, yeah, I figured it out along the ride the first time I watched through, and so the reveal kind of didn't do too much for me, I guess. I like it, but I'm just like hyper aware of, are they going to do the thing where spoiler, these are the same characters.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously what we're talking about. It's like the big thing.
Yeah.
Weird that we open up with it, but yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this movie is one of the first two that did something like that.
I don't feel like it did. I feel like something like that has been in real like storytelling and like media like pretty much throughout.
Yeah, it's definitely presented in a pretty unique way here, but I feel like there are so many like hints and clues that actually I took note of a bunch of those. But we can get to those later, I guess. If you wanted to say anything else.
I mean, afterwards, I got like, I started piecing stuff together, like, after it was revealed. I was just like, oh yeah, I guess, because this happened and this and this.
Yeah.
So, like, they accounted for it. Like, they covered their tracks.
They absolutely did. There's a lot that I picked up on a second time through. Right in the opening scene, when he's just like strapped to the chair, right after all that crazy cinematography, which we'll talk about as well.
That's not cinematography, it's CGI.
But the way they did some of the like extreme close-ups in this movie.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like how far it went was, obviously CGI.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just gonna come out the gate and say it. I think this movie aged. It aged like milk left outside.
Huh.
It's pretty dated.
Well, I agree and disagree because I think it's great, but
I think the middle part is like the strongest part of the whole movie. I guess to reveal my whole hand, I guess. Generally speaking.
I think that you have to look at it as a product of its time for sure, because
or just at least keep it in mind too.
The way it's done is like I'm never going to knock points off of all those sequences with the close-ups and like how intense it feels at times, like cuz like so many movies tried to do that after this that it became the feel of the 2000s and it became kind of a joke, and it's like
right. I honestly in the opening I thought like, what the fuck is, when did this come out? Because I swear I thought it was like early 2000s or something, but it was 99.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna knock that at all. I think it's cool here, and like then it got overdone, and that's why it feels like a product of that time. That's why it feels cheap. It feels blah blah blah. But it was actually a unique voice at this one point where David Fincher did this, and like really kind of broke through, and it was so influential that we ended up with a bunch of lesser movies copying it.
Well, I'm still judging it based on the quality, not dependent on like if it's overused or not, or if it's a cliche or whatever. And I really didn't like the opening part.
Didn't?
No. I found the music to be annoying.
It reminded
I found the opening credits took forever, and also like all the CGI. CGI also looked really like not super old, but it was really jank. Great for 1999, but like
it reminds me of like the Spider-Man opening, or
I hated Spider-Man openings too.
Or
it takes so fucking long. It's just webs, so you don't see anything interesting.
I was gonna say, or like the Jimmy Neutron opening. Funny enough,
yeah, here at least you get something interesting, but it's like, what does this really have to do with like Fight Club, And and then it opens with him with the gun in his mouth, and then it's just and then you get narration like that. That's not only it's overused, but I just find that lazy.
So I was going to say about the opening narration. I don't know what the fuck my cats are doing, but it's annoying. No, I don't really have problems with that personally. The opening, because it feels like I've gotta put myself back then and see that as something new, as opposed to the thing that became the thing to do.
Sure,
like
I can put it as something new, and so if this is the first time I'm seeing this, and I'm like, okay, why are we starting here? And then just going back, I feel like it's an artificial, like, hook. Whenever it starts at the end of the story and it's just like, hold on, take it a step back. To me, that's artificial. That's like, why don't we just start at the beginning and then get me invested? I would have been invested from the start, because it's a strong start from where like the story begins chronologically.
Yeah,
and genuinely, I forgot about the gun scene until it was the end. And just because, like, the beginning and the end are the same, it's like, well, I mean, it's not like it was done with like any tact. It was just like copy and pasted. It wasn't like, we're back here, It's not like, we ended up in the same spot. It's literally just the spot, but it was shoehorned in the beginning to make you feel that certain way,
So it didn't like make me feel a certain way, but I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that storytelling technique of showing you the end, and then building to it, because I think it can be pretty effective.
It can, but again, for me, okay, Fight Club here did it bad. There's lots of other movies that I can't recall at the moment that has done it the same way. I think that done in of itself is lazy, and even Deadpool 2 made fun of it. That's where it does it right. Berserk, that does it right too, in the at least in the the manga series,
right? I guess like
where it doesn't show you like the end climactic part, but it shows you the aftermath, so you're wondering what happened and how you got here, to this point, but not showing you like the climax, so you don't know exactly like what that moment is.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, knowing the twist at the end, like I thought it was really stupid that Brad Pitt did have the gun in Edward Norton's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
If we're skipping to the end,
why is that?
Because like he makes it he almost outsmarts him by putting the gun to his to himself. So if he shoots himself, he gets rid of both of them. But it's like if he's holding the gun in his mouth as like an intimidation move, like what does that accomplish? If he shoots him, then then he's gone too.
Yeah, but it trips him out. As you can see, like at the end, when Tyler's got the gun to his head.
Yeah, so
he's like, oh, he's gonna kill me. But when he figures out how he's in control of the whole thing, then he can kill Tyler.
No, but Tyler had the gun to his head, so it's like he didn't think it through. He didn't even know why it was doing it. It was just it felt like it was artificial, that it was just there to get that tension from the audience without having to try, really.
I don't know. I see it as one of the sides of him is going to win. And so when Tyler's got the gun to his head, it's like he's going to kill that part of him. And when he's got the gun to his own head, he's killing Tyler.
Sure, but it's showed that it's a physical ass gun.
Hey.
And that he's got some control over Edward Norton, so it doesn't make sense, is what I'm saying. The beginning and end is something I have a huge problem with in this movie because of that reason.
Don't know where my cat is. Yeah, okay. I don't have a problem with it. But I did want to say about the opening scene. Right away they tell us the twist, which of course they did. I noticed that he was right away like, they've got bombs in all these buildings, right? And they're all going to blow up. I know this because Tyler knows this. He says that, and it's right away. Which is always something clever. I like when a movie throws in something that you're not going to pick up on. And if you re-see it, then it's just kind of there like, haha, we told you the whole time.
So I didn't catch that. There's lots of dialogue parts where it was like muttered and like mumbled. So I didn't catch a lot of things like that. I had a huge problem with the audio in this movie.
Weird. I usually need subtitles, but I didn't for this. So I'm on the opposite. I think the audio is like pretty well mixed.
I disagree with that. Like there are so many times where like there's a gunshot or something loud happening and it fucking pierced my ears. Like I swear my neighbors could hear it because I had to turn it up because they talk like so quietly most of the time, and then some loud shit happens and it's just like, okay, there go my speakers.
Huh. Okay, yeah, I had a different experience.
So I didn't catch that with like what they said that, but I don't find that clever. I don't find that clever of them telling you the twist in a cryptic way, and you'll only find it out when you watch the movie. Again, I find that artificial in the same way. It could be done well, but if that's the case, if that's literally what they said, then it's just like you just spoiled the ending there, mate.
Yeah, but you didn't catch it
because of the audio issues. I said.
Well,
but the fact that it's there is that I'm going to judge it on. Just because I missed it, I could be out taking a piss, and like I didn't experience that, but it doesn't change the fact that that's there. So it doesn't matter if I miss it or not. If that's there, then that's the issue that I have with that.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, mostly I'm disagreeing so far. I've got like this whole list of other clues that were thrown in. I kind of stopped taking note of it because I figured that you would have like figured out the twist beforehand. So I was just like, yeah, you probably don't need me to like drive home all the ways they like pointed it out. But let's see. Tyler, he's seen in the background of a bunch of scenes before he's introduced. I don't know if you caught that.
Nope.
Yep.
I did catch some other characters though that showed up in later scenes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he literally flashes in.
Oh, for the one frame things.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I caught those.
That happened multiple times, and
like, that's interesting. But for my brain then, I was like, oh, maybe the main character has like some brain injury from Fight Club, so then it's gonna go Hotline Miami on me, and then we'll find out that this is all past tense.
Yeah,
things and all that.
I don't know. It sounds like you wanted to like project a lot onto what it could be. You know.
That was the first time I did.
Okay.
That was the only time I did. So.
Well, That's me, like, from other things you said so far. Like, when I watch something, usually if I expect too much, I'm going to be like, I'm going to get the wrong thing out of the movie because I'm not getting what it's wanting to share with me.
I was giving examples of some pieces of media where it does that, foreshadowing a bit, quote unquote, like what's an obvious way of foreshadowing like this, I was giving a example of media that I think does this better than Fight Club. And obviously my expectations are really high for Fight Club,
Yeah.
It's one of the cinematic giants, so I've got my own expectations like set at a certain bar already.
Okay, so yes. You see in the background. Yeah, there's just a bunch of one frame flashes. Also, when Edward Norton is in the airport and there's the moving sidewalk Brad Pitt goes by on, like they clearly show you Brad Pitt right there. And it's not hidden. They have the same suitcase on the airplane. That's pretty in your face. When they officially meet.
Yeah.
We have some quotes. He says, "Who you are in Fight Club isn't who you are outside." There was a scene where he was at the doctor, I think, and Tyler's just hanging out in the back, and he's like, "Sometimes Tyler spoke for me." Then he says something. Tyler says something, and it comes out of his mouth, which happens multiple times. Yeah,
I got out of that when he was like down at the in the basement, and he hides it, and he's not answering questions directly, like what his name is, who did that like burn to him.
Yeah, the whole thing with Marla. You know what I mean? You fucked her. And he's like, what? She asks, who are you talking to? When he's beating himself up, he thinks of the Tyler fight. Like, I just took note of a bunch of things that, like, they give you, but, like, ideally, you don't figure it out until you watch it again, and then there's something new to get out of it. So, I guess that those would be cool things if you didn't figure it out. Which the movie definitely prides itself on. There's the whole thing with what Tyler does for a living with the clipping the film reels together.
Yeah, that was pretty, on the nose, and that Tyler is the one that's in control.
And just also how, what did I write on it? I love how he points at the cigarette burn for one thing. The splicing single frames of pornography into films. Did you notice that happened at the end?
No.
There's a single frame of a dick at the end.
There is.
And that's pretty great.
Well, was it after the credits or?
Nope. It was right before it fades into the credits.
I might have blinked and missed it.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? So, yeah, my train of thought got a little lost somewhere, but so did you have anything you wanted to say?
I feel like it's easy to lose train of thought in this, and I felt as though I needed another watch already.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, did you want to say anything?
Well, we can try to make our way chronologically. Like, it's chronologically at least how the movie presents it in that way.
Okay, well, I don't know. I have some notes from earlier in the movie, but I don't know how easily I'll be able to do that. Like, okay, when it starts off, he's just our unnamed dude is kind of a big play. He plays into society, in his role in society. He buys from IKEA and shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of quirks that I liked in his character, but there were lots of things that it was doing that paved the way for early 2000s type movies, where like I didn't really see the relevance a lot in like going into detail about the things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the movie thought, again, the only issues I really have with the movie are from the beginning and like the very end.
Mm-hmm.
The middle and even the early middle is all really good. It's just I found the beginning to be like really rough. Like the movie seems.
You mean just the very beginning, like when it flashes to him going to groups? You're fine with that, or?
Well, I didn't.
Or is that? Do you include that?
The movie must have really felt the need to include bitch tits more than once.
Yeah,
and thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah.
I didn't find that funny. I was just like, okay.
I'm totally fine with like the terminology that they use because it makes it feel less like it's taking itself that seriously to me. Because people say that, or they definitely did back then. Like my brother used to say that
but
a lot.
saying that more than like once or even twice, if it was, it just feels like
bitch tits.
shoehorning and just juvenile in terms of humor.
Yeah.
Again, I find that lazy as well. It's just
I
like, he said bitch tits in a movie. It's just like,
well, all right.
it doesn't appeal to me.
The thing with lazy though too, because like you're using that term a lot. I don't think lazy is always bad if you flesh it out and do it right. It can be bad for sure, but I don't feel like anything that's easy to come up with is inherently bad. Just like anything that's creative isn't inherently
zero effort,
good.
Subtlety, nuance, anything like that, or
I think so. I would disagree.
In terms of bitch tits, if we're talking about that specifically.
Sure about that. But just because it's a term that like you're throwing out a lot, I don't think it's like inherently something bad. For subtlety, not everything needs to be subtle. I think this movie did a lot of subtlety.
It does
pretty well. And I think some stuff doesn't need to be subtle. Some things I'd prefer done subtly. Mostly with horror, I prefer subtlety. With something like this, it really depends on what it's going for,
Yes, but with
if we're talking about bitch tits,
if
I don't care.
This in particular, it felt as though it needed a laugh track behind it. It's the same reason why Family Guy and fucking Big Bang Theory aren't funny.
Yeah, so it didn't make me laugh, but I like that. When something like this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of what the movies that copy this do wrong, I think, is they throw out the personality. They're just like, look how melodramatic and how high the stakes are and shit. And this movie's got a sense of humor. And like, if it is juvenile, great. As far as I'm concerned,
I didn't feel as though that was a sense of humor. I felt like any movie in the mid 2000s could have just used this. Family Guy could have used it. Like, it doesn't feel unique to this. Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's personality and there's like, I like how the main character is going to support groups and that's like his thing. It's his quirk. I think it's fine that Meatloaf has giant tits. Like, it's a quirk.
I think there's much more to him going to groups than just like being a quirk.
Well, I mean, in terms of a writing standpoint.
Yeah. Because I wrote down like what I
generally.
Yeah, I wrote down what I believe to be, the significance of him going to the meetings, but
well, yeah, he says it.
Yeah. He's kind of just, attracted to the genuineness of it, that everyone there is just honest and they're crying and they're blah blah blah. Talking about real shit as opposed to kind of everything else in his life, which is this whole idea of the consumer.
And plus it makes him feel as though people care about him as well.
Yep.
Even if it's like artificial.
And as soon as Marla comes in, she's a faker and he can't sleep again. Like he's just become numb to everything being fake and materialistic and consumer.
Yeah.
Like that's why like he's like, people here are real. They open up and blah blah blah.
And his resentment of Marla is like clearly like ironic.
Yep.
Also, and yeah, here is where it's like it's all great stuff. Also, like, I feel like I'm catching on something with this character. Is I'm pretty sure like Tyler, or unnamed dude, whatever. Both of them, misogynistic as fuck, right? Am I the only one that's?
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, but
well, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they had that whole like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest thing moment, I think, where Tyler, he was in that fucking nasty bathtub and he's just like, we're born and raised by women. I think we need less of it or some shit like that.
Oh yeah,
and just the way that they treat Marla.
He said something about just manlyhood and all that.
Yeah,
and manliness, and just like saying something about. I guess we're talking about Marla, but it was like, yeah, not in the we're men, but not like the hunter gatherer like type or some shit like that.
Yeah,
it's like that like societal construct,
That's kind of what I think people resonate with about this movie, and that's why it gets like the kind of controversial rap because there are dude bros who are fucking all about toxic masculinity, and that's like what they get out of this movie.
They don't even have to be like dude bros to be toxic masculinity.
No, but
they can be like scrawny little fuckheads.
Yeah, and that's like what they take away from this. Like, I think that's one of the things. And another thing, we'll get into like the bigger themes towards the end, I guess. Something I think might be misconstrued about the movie, or at least like my thoughts on it, what I interpreted. But yeah, so this whole thing kicks off with his apartment exploding, and all his material possessions are gone.
Last thing to wrap up that last discussion was just I brought that up because like at halfway in the movie I kept thinking like, why does he have such a strong resentment for Marla? Until I was just like, unless that. So explains that part of it at least anyway. Okay, moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like apartment exploding.
Yeah, a cat definitely pooped. So
crazy.
Just a warning. Yeah. Okay. So
crazy, interesting set piece that it chose.
The apartment explodes. Yeah. We could. Did you want to talk about the actual explosion? Because I was just going to talk about how it like kind of kicks off the thematic element.
Go for it.
Which of course is it's like kind of like Buddhist, or is it Buddhism where
that's against materialism,
that you have to like hit your low.
That was a weird
and lose everything. Or no, it was a philosopher. I'm fucking stupid, but like Plato or someone who believed like you have to hit your lowest, and like that's very much what Tyler is all about. Like that's why once he's lost everything and he's living in this like broken mansion, whatever the fuck it is, and he pours the sulfuric acid or whatever it was on his hand,
something like that.
Yeah. He's like going on this whole tirade about hitting your lowest point and how like you'll be grateful after or whatever, blah blah blah. And it sounds like that's really, and as this movie goes, it becomes this whole agenda to get rid of materialism and consumerism and everything. That's kind of Tyler's main enemy, because that's where the whole fight.
He's actively like against it,
Yeah,
so it's way more than it's definitely not Buddhism, because they're not violent.
No,
by any means. I do know what you're talking about, though.
The thing where you have to hit your lowest and then you're disciplined or whatever. It's some philosopher said it, if not something like Buddhism or Hinduism.
It's not either of those.
Yeah.
It's probably some philosopher, like you said, or at least a psychologist.
Yeah.
It sounds like a Freud-ass thing to say.
Weirdly enough, I heard PewDiePie talk about it, so someone that he's into. But yeah, so that's like very much kind of what Tyler's whole goal is, and it's kind of this response to being treated like a statistic, like a number, like not a human.
Yeah, and he brought that up too later.
Yeah.
About like car accidents, saying like,
yep.
This is what they must look like when I file them as statistics.
Yeah.
God, my speech is really fucked up today.
Yep. And so that's obviously why subconsciously our narrator, as Tyler, blows up his own apartment and his material possessions.
Yeah, and doesn't realize it himself.
And that's why he goes to the meetings to feel something and like feel like people care about him and blah blah blah. And that's where the fighting comes in too, because what I guess might be easy to miss for some people, that I feel like it's saying, is just that fighting is one of the most real and raw like things that human nature has to offer, with real consequences, which is alluring to someone who doesn't feel anything in a materialistic society.
I mean, the part where it finally Fight Club starts happening, dude, I want to be in a Fight Club now.
Okay, so
this motivated me.
Yeah, this is where I got to bring this up, because real Fight Clubs started cropping up after the film was made. And I guess this is what people mean when they say a lot of people completely missed the point of the movie. But that was a controversy about this movie back in the day, because they started cropping up.
I mean, Fight Clubs were could have always been a thing. We commercialized boxing and wrestling and all that shit. So like, it's so what is my thing to that in terms of what the media has to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, though it does take 40 minutes before we get Fight Club.
Mm-hmm. And 20 minutes before we even like really get introduced to Tyler.
Yeah, so take that from what you will. I mean, I think the when we get introduced to Tyler is like good pacing.
Yeah,
that's pretty good pacing.
Yeah, it starts with our narrator needs a place to stay, and Tyler's like, just ask me. And then he gets him to punch him in the face. And apparently when he punched Brad Pitt in the ear, it was a genuine reaction. He's like, why the ear? Like, apparently that wasn't like planned like that. It just happened.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I laughed because it was an actual like such a bitchy little punch.
Yeah.
But it's also what they sound like.
Yeah.
In anything. Whenever you hear a punch, it's always like a big old, you know?
Uh-huh.
But in real life, it's more like,
yeah,
if even that loud, it's just like a little slap. It just sounds like you're beating your meat.
Right.
So I just laughed because it actually, sounded like a real punch too.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anywhere you wanted to go?
Well, I want to talk a little more in detail about stuff, I guess. Like, I really like the design of Tyler, Brad Pitt's wardrobe.
Yeah,
specifically
he's
just such
he kind of changes it a few times.
Just such a Johnny Bravo looking dude.
Yeah, towards the end he's got like his fur coat or whatever.
Oh yeah, like that, just full on ridiculous. I mean, red leather jacket.
That's what he has for most
and
of it.
the red sunglasses and like some Hawaiian shirt with like 3 buttons down or something.
He's always looking weird. He chipped his tooth for this movie. Like, he thought that someone who was in a fight club couldn't look like so perfect, so he chipped his tooth. I don't know if you noticed. He had a dentist chip his tooth for a fucking role.
Jesus. Well, then now, like, did he get it fixed?
I don't know. Did he?
I'm like, is that something you can fix even?
I just read that he got his tooth chipped for this, so I'm gonna check that out. But keep going.
Damn, that is some dedication. Yeah, I think Brad Pitt is probably my favorite thing in this movie. I was surprised to no one really. I think he's like a very strong role actor in this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me see. 20 things you didn't know about Fight Club. Whatever.
Oh,
it does. Wait, this says that he didn't chip his tooth. Likes to be authentic, but he's not method. His tooth was already chipped, but then I see recent pictures of him and his tooth isn't chipped.
Well,
so I guess maybe I spread misinformation, but I don't know.
It could be a rumor.
Yeah,
for all we know.
I was just reading a different article that was like things you didn't know about Fight Club.
It would be cool if that did happen, and it might, but it could be a rumor. So don't hold your breath.
Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm just reading the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. During the support groups, I really liked how the main character like picked fake sounding names, like Cornelius and Rupert.
Yeah,
it's like they're not like fake, but like they don't sound real. and I like that. It basically it's a subtle way of like telling the viewer like, yeah, these are fake names.
Right.
Because it could have been like if it picked like Dave, then it was just like, oh, it could, this main character's name could be Dave.
Yeah.
But like with Cornelius, it's just like, nah.
I really do like too that he doesn't have a name. I think that's
his name is Tyler.
Well, he's credited as just the narrator. And like beyond that, like he doesn't even seem to know his name. So it really kind of plays with that multiple personality thing.
Well, I think like I don't know. This is kind of
it's like this aspect of him is definitely Tyler.
This is tough to get into because it's all like interpretive stuff, like it's in like stuff that is inferred through the movie that we can like kind of just talk in circles about. So I guess I won't.
Yeah. So yeah, I took it as like I like that he didn't have a name.
The way I took it is his name is Tyler from the get go.
Sure.
And then just personify into a different thing essentially, but there's no way of knowing that, and it's all semantics. It's going to be a pointless conversation. So moving on.
Well, wait. No, I was saying I like that because not a lot of things do that, but I obviously it's been done in more than Fight Club, but it's always a fun, and it's a nice little through line hint towards the twist that you don't know this dude's name, and you know Tyler, and you know like a bunch of weird kind of mysterious things about Tyler. So I think it's just something extra to pick up on.
Well, yeah, in the movie, in like that context, yeah, the storytelling way, it's done pretty well. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go for it.
Go for what?
Oh, I thought you had something.
Oh,
you're trying to move me on.
Oh, I listed a few other things. Fuck. Really put me on the spot. Let's talk about Marla's character.
Sure. What do you think?
What a crazy bitch. But like not unlike people you would find in LA.
Really? I'm trying to think, like, is she that crazy or is it
Oh, she's wacko, dude. She's 100% wacko.
Because it's like Tyler and the narrator kind of switching back and forth. He's kind of the one who's fucking nuts.
Oh, comparatively.
Yeah.
Like, the main character has like full-on psychosis.
How much could you react to, like, how rationally could you react to someone who's literally like two different people to you every time you see them? I don't know. Clearly there's something up with anyone who is going to these support groups to just like fuck with people. Like she goes to a testicular cancer support group.
Yeah. Well, the thing is about this movie is that you kind of have to like, what's the word?
Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, there you go. For this, because it's not like done in any realistic way.
No.
If we're gonna say that, then oh man.
No.
God help you if you make that claim.
No, I don't think that's an issue either.
I was just saying. I was just kind of pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. So what were you getting at? Why do you think she's crazy?
Oh, she's a drug addict. She says wacko shit.
Yeah.
She's sex addicted.
Yeah.
Partly manipulative, I guess.
I don't know.
In a similar way.
I'm trying to think.
We don't really know like so much about her. Just kind of like
no, you don't. She has kind of an interesting role.
She looks like Edward Scissorhands.
That's funny.
Her fucking hair and just kind of face,
Mm-hmm. I do like her role in that it's like a bit more minor. There's not really like, you don't get the sense with this movie that anyone really won.
I like the touch that when she was at their place once, and then Tyler and her were never in the same room.
Yeah,
like Emil's pointed out that way.
Yeah, and Tyler comes to the door naked. He's like, "You want to finish her off?" And he's like, "No, I'm good." Yeah, and then if you just pay attention to her reactions to the narrator,
yeah, when she was like, "Who are you talking to?"
Like, yeah, and just like at the end when she comes to him and is like, "Can I come in?" And he's like, "He's not here. Tyler's not here." And then like she just looks at him like, fuck you, dude," and like leaves. Like her character gives us a lot of possible insight into the twist, but I guess not a bunch else. Like you don't really know what's going on with them by the end of this movie even. I feel like I just said, we'll talk about the end, in a bit, I guess, but I like the feeling that it's kind of still a mess at the end of this movie. All that's really happened is they've removed Tyler from the situation.
What do you mean by like it's a mess?
By the end of the movie. Not between him and Marla. I kind of went on a little tangent about just like the whole situation going on in the movie. Like it's kind of like they kicked off this big mess and it seems like there's somewhere for it to go, but it just ends. And it kind of leaves the viewer to wonder what happened in this world after that. After all those buildings explode. and after Tyler's out of the picture.
Oh, so we're talking about that. Yeah, we'll get
I'm talking about the end. Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get to there. We're moving a little too quickly. I mean, here's the thing with this. It's like, it's really hard, at least for me, to like judge or talk about this movie because of like the large choices that it made to like make them separate entities for like the entirety of the movie until the end.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, like, on that subject, I think it's pretty flawed in that like it's only when he figures out that like Tyler's in his head is when he starts doing fucky shit. It's like, why did he like keep to the rules of being a person, like seemingly, um, up until like he figures it out? That doesn't make sense to me.
What do you mean?
Where like he before the main character finds out, and the twist happens, Tyler is like just a regular person. Like he looks like he follows the rules of a regular person.
Yeah.
He reacts to punches, he reacts to hits. You feel him.
Well, there's a cool thing. It's really subtle, but when Tyler's fighting the owners of that basement, when he gets punched, you can actually see the narrator in the background, like double over just a little bit, and I love that detail. That's like obviously one little thing.
Yeah.
About what the whole thing.
That's a cool thing to show that they're linked, but it just, I'm talking about like the main character and Tyler's interactions, like specifically. Like Tyler follows the rules of like regular living until like the end where he starts teleporting and shit, and like becomes invulnerable. Like that just seems like plot powers to me.
I don't know exactly what you're referring to about his powers.
He doesn't teleport before the twist.
When did he teleport?
Literally at every scene at the end when they're fighting. When he tried to disarm the van, he was trying to run from him, catch him up, fight him.
I mean, Tyler or the narrator teleports?
Tyler teleports.
Yeah. Well,
you see him up the ramp by the van. He turns, he runs, and then when the camera pans, Tyler's there. That is teleporting.
Right. Well, I'm
saying he didn't do that before the twist.
No, he didn't.
He didn't stay.
No. That's like a pretty easy answer, I think, in that it's just for the storytelling. Like,
right.
Obviously,
I find it to be inconsistent with the rules, and just like I found it like as it's kind of like it's plot powers. It's just they're doing this just to like elevate tension.
Yeah, I think like it needs to be done like that if you want to tell the story. So I kind of give that a pass. I think they make it work because once he's aware, kind of Tyler doesn't play by the rules anymore because he doesn't need to. Because now Edward Norton. The only reason I wish he had a name is so I didn't have to call him Edward Norton.
Exactly. Player unknown.
Now that he's aware of the situation, Tyler doesn't need to play by the rules anymore. He doesn't need to be believable as a different person. He's playing to win now. He's not playing to be subtle.
But he was playing to win from the start. So it's like now all of a sudden he decides like, you know what, now I'm gonna like up the ante. At the point where he's arguably already won too, it's like he already said like there's like 10 other bombs placed around the city, so like why bother fighting him?
He becomes radicalized throughout, obviously. Like you don't get this whole like, oh, we're gonna blow up these buildings and erase people's debt and shit. Like you don't get all of that until like later in the film.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's because Project Mayhem.
Yep, you don't get
that's something that's a side subject.
It all just comes out of it. Yeah, so I think he just starts to do more. He starts to take over more. He starts to do more behind the narrator's back. And I think it's just kind of visualizing what he's capable of. And earlier in the film, he kind of had less power because the narrator was still mostly himself.
So this is all pretty inferred. I don't know. For me, it's either just stick with the he could teleport and show that subtly, where like it kind of did when he couldn't find him, when he was like going states like throughout. Well, he couldn't find him there, and that's like that kind of plays with that kind of ability. But then like outright showing it, I don't know. It's just stick one way or the other. It's like I don't think you needed him to be like teleporting and all that shit. I just found that to be jarring.
I think it's interpretive. I think, well, I told you what I got from it, but I wasn't thinking, why is he teleporting? Like, it just makes sense to me that this guy doesn't even exist. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. he can play with his mind however he sees fit.
So then why not just turn into a fucking dragon and then just eat everything, you know? It's like if he could do anything, then it's just like, why bother? So it's like he clearly can't do anything, because he would otherwise, or we would see that.
Yeah, but like
I'm trying to point out like what I feel as though is a contrivance here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it.
All it had to do was just not include it, and I felt as though it would have been fine.
No, I didn't even think twice about it. I'm just like, that makes sense. Again, like I'd be making a lot more parallels, but I don't want to spoil anything else.
We've already like made a lot of parallels about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not as concerned with like, oh yeah, this is like part of like the part of the twist, and this too. Like you kind of like piece that together like as you watch it afterwards, you know.
Right.
I just want like a deeper, discussion on things.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with like. For me, it's just about telling the story. It's about the stakes are higher towards the end because, of course, they are. Like,
I mean, you can say that about anything. Then,
yeah.
You can say that about You can say that about fucking Slender Man.
Yeah, but I don't think him teleporting is like. I don't think that's gone too far in any way. Personally, I didn't even think about it.
How far is too far? It's not like the fact that he can teleport. He could have flew for all I care. It's the same thing for me. That it was inconsistent with like what it showed us before. Not like he couldn't evolve. It was just like, well, where does it stop now?
Well, yeah, it stops there because that's all he does. So,
well, let's move on.
Sure. The last things that I had were just about the interpretation of the movie, I guess.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a few other things too. Like, first of all, it's fucking insane that he grows a cult like across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I don't know, it's so fucking like outlandish. I love it. Well, just how some small fight club turned into like a private militia.
Yeah, it's like this idea that there's all these people across the world who feel the same, who are feeling angry and not seen.
And like, actually pretty interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just entertaining. Just like, he's flying over and then they're just like, what do you mean? Like, of all this, like everyone's just like, oh, you're the guy, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. And like along with that, there's like
it's like everyone is in on it too. Just like everywhere he goes. And
which leads to the thing about cutting balls off.
Yeah, apparently this movie has a fetish with that. I was just saying, like, I found it like it became like really scary and frightening. Of like just everywhere he went, it was like it was his own cause, but only he knew how dangerous it was.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he's the leader and like they could literally bow to his every whim. But it was just scary of like how many people were like around behind the scenes in this underground thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even like some members were against him, like in that police interrogation like room.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then that's when they try and cut his balls off.
Yeah.
But
he also tried to cut off another politician's balls in like a huge bathroom.
Yeah,
that bathroom was just like, what the why? Who needs a bathroom that big?
I think that might go into the commentary on the toxic masculinity. Obviously, that's like what happens to you if you disobey.
See, I never really thought about that. I just thought like, I didn't even think about the other implications. I was just like, they just want to torture him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it also goes with the that he was in he first joined a testicular cancer support group. And then there's this theme about cutting out. I guess the movie just is like, lose your balls.
Yeah. And like just because you got me thinking about that scene, Edward Norton is great in this.
Oh yeah, no, his performance is great. I think overall,
Brad Pitt, they're all great.
Everybody does amazing performances here.
Yeah, they all killed it. And I guess on a bit more of the technical stuff, I just generally like the cinematography and the what was it? They had the What did I write down? Yeah, I already mentioned the like extreme close-ups, and yeah, a lot of that CGI. But also just kind of the dynamic camera as opposed.
Yeah, there were a few funky camera angles, like near the end when he was talking with himself in that motel, and then you get like a really like downward angled up like towards his face type of camera angle.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it like kind of funny in that scene where he passes out and he passes out on the bed.
Yeah.
In my head, I was just like, really, movie? Like, you're going to show us people getting beaten and killed, and it's like he can't fall on the floor. He falls on the bed and just bounces daintily. I just found that funny. That was the most gentle thing I've ever seen this whole movie. Speaking of which, it's brutal.
The fighting?
Oh, just the movie.
Yeah.
Like, where you see Bob dead.
Right.
Like, that was intense.
Yeah. And
it really felt as like, even though it was a side character and just played up for laughs, like the performance of Edward Norton like really felt as though it brought home like this is a person, you know. It felt like it gave it weight.
Right, and then Bob is basically the whole reason that the narrator kind of is like, I guess, well, that goes into the bigger themes of it, where he decides like what they're doing, how they're reacting is hurting people, and it's wrong.
Right.
Which is what I wanted to get into whenever we're ready to get into the final themes and stuff.
Right. Let's see. There's a lot of like smaller details that I want to bring up. I don't know. There's just so much to unpack with this movie that I know we're trying to wrap this up, but like there's so much still to like to talk about and shit.
Yeah, you can talk. I've just got some more notes. I think I told you I didn't know how much I had to say about this movie, but it's like such a big thing that I was like, I get to be the guy to make you watch it. So
yeah,
I did.
No, I mean I enjoy this movie, and it's gonna sound like I don't, but like I'm being harsher on it because of like the expectations.
Because how popular it is.
Yeah, and like and genuinely from how popular it is, like I feel as though like a lot of things I brought up, my criticisms are like genuine hindrances towards the movie.
Right.
None as egregious as the beginning.
Well, yeah, for you.
For me, I also found his narration just, at least in the beginning, like really bland and just flat, monotone almost.
Yeah.
I get that's the point, but I found that just boring. I was like, why can't we just watch?
It's like Elliot.
I was like, why can't we just like watch things happen as opposed to like narrate his like emotions? There were only a few parts in the narration where I was just like, oh, that actually added something, you know, as a thought that it could have been fine, but like mostly in the beginning, it could have just. I honestly would have preferred no dialogue and like just showed us some things depending.
Yeah, it reminds me of Elliot and Mr. Robot a lot because he does the monotone thing, voiceover, or even Dexter.
But this was like throughout. This was like literally everything, every minute thing as well.
Yeah. But I just mean like the way that it was kind of like emotionless, kind of monotone.
I felt as though that could just given like a little extra flavor depending on his emotion, as opposed to just like empty or whatever. Because you know there's a whole lot of shit going on with this character. So I don't know. And there's like lots of narrations things where it's like a Peppa Pig narration where it's like something happens and then you get the narrator telling you the thing that just happened. It's just like, is that necessary? I felt as though lots of it just wasn't necessary.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't have notes about any of this stuff. Obviously, like, to do something more in depth, you'd have to have like all examples. Like, we'd need to literally sit here and watch it and do a commentary over it to be like, okay, yeah, that line was unnecessary. But like,
I mean, honestly, I would love to do that.
Yeah, we're not.
I would love to give like more concrete examples, but
we're not. Yeah, I feel like if we did something like that where we discussed as things were happening, that'd be good. I know.
Maybe not Fight Club, maybe not movie, because that would be like, you know, maybe a 5, 6, 8 hour podcast or some shit.
Oh, I just meant like I don't know, like a commentary thing.
Yeah.
Like YMS does some where they would just watch something and record their voices, and then on the video they say, okay, click play now and sync it up with the movie if you want to watch with our commentary. Like I feel like that would maybe give us a way to talk about everything as it happens, but that's a tangent.
Let's see, something I only like a few minutes ago like pieced together was when he was in the airport and they confiscated his luggage because they thought it was a bomb in there. It was a vibrating briefcase, so I thought that was interesting in terms of the the twist and the through line of it. Like maybe it was a bomb or some shit or something that could make it. But I found that scene like actually really funny because he was like, 9 times out of 10 it's electric razor or something else, and it's like it's building up to like, oh no, what could it be? Like, is he in trouble? It's just like a dildo.
I know, never your dildo, just a dildo.
Just a dildo. And see, I thought that was really funny until like the end, and then it just kind of ruined the joke. I forgot what he said in particular, but I was just like, oh, it's because he's implying he's gay. Haha, funny.
Oh, I don't even remember.
I think that's what I picked up from it. I don't remember the exact delivery.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, I'll just I'm just gonna like get rid of that last part in my head canon because I thought it was much funnier without it.
Sure.
Let's see. I love what's her name again? I already forgot.
Marla.
Marla. I was like, damn it. I was like, Marley, Maddie. This is like fucking going back and forth between. I like that dinner scene where she was like, yeah, you're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jackass.
What the fuck? I missed that.
I love that. And I love the outright mention of the whole like multiple personality thing.
That's pretty great. Yeah, I didn't even catch that.
I guess I wish it like went into more depth with Marla. It seemed as though like she seemed like really sane. Like
there's not a lot to her. She's kind of static. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like it's bad. I guess I just wish there were more. So,
no, and that's what I mean.
Not a criticism.
That's what I mean. She doesn't do much for him. She's not even like really much of a motivator.
But I do like that it's a conscious choice to like exploit our main character's flaws with him being pretty misogynistic. And that he just resents her for like literally no reason. She tries to like genuinely help at a lot of points.
Yeah.
But he's just like, no, I want to be this. I want to be what Tyler wants me to be or all that. So he doesn't feel as though like he's, shackled by, materialism and all that, consumerism, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
The themes we talked about.
Right.
I haven't talked about that because I feel as though they were pretty clear.
Yeah,
it is a really cool theme. That's what this movie to do.
That's why I wanted to kind of finish up with, the themes, because I felt like there are two things you could really take from it, and again, like
one, don't talk about Fight Club. Two, IKEA is the best place ever.
You don't really like. You hear everyone says like, "Oh, people who watch Fight Club didn't get it," and I was trying to figure out exactly what the assumption is that people take away from it. If it's just about fighting and toxic masculinity, I'm like, well, you missed literally most of the movie if that's all you took from it.
Well, that's, I guess, what I anticipated going into this movie.
Yeah.
Was that it was going to, I thought it was going to be like an athletic type of movie,
Yeah, same. I didn't know. I put off seeing it because I'm like, it's called Fight Club.
So like, I knew that they met up in some basement, and I knew Brad Pitt was like, first rule of Fight Club, don't talk about Fight Club and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole consumerism thing, really cool theme, but pretty apparent.
Is it like very apparent. I'm like, is that really what people miss, or are they just misconstruing what it's saying about it?
And it's not what I expected at all in Fight Club, but like it relates like pretty well with what we're talking about, or what you were talking about earlier. That is like everyone has this pent up rage emotion, let it out some way somehow.
Yeah, it's just a way to get raw, genuine emotion out.
I noticed
for them.
A little detail I noticed was like during the homework assignment when they were like fighting random strangers.
I love that.
Yeah, that was pretty great. When the guy was hosing the rabbi, he's later like seen in the mansion.
Oh, cool.
Fight Club.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
I noticed the priest there. I was just like,
there's a lot of like little attention to detail that I love about it.
Yeah.
It's not that shit's very subtle, actually. A lot of the stuff that they just put into a scene subtly. That's all David Fincher too. Like that's the direction.
Yeah, and the fights itself, like whenever his Norton character gets beaten the shit out of basically, and by Brad Pitt, and like what you hear is like head crack on the concrete. That, or well, he wasn't fighting Brad Pitt, I don't think, in that scene, but still, like when you hear that crack, I fucking winced at that.
Right.
You know, and then at that moment, I thought, okay, now things are gonna get fucky because he's got like head trauma or some shit, right?
Yeah.
And no, I feel like that's where it could have gone, you know, with what I expected. I guess I'm glad it didn't.
I really do love too that scene where he beats himself up in front of his boss, and it kind of shows like
that was wild.
It kind of shows how it would have looked at the beginning of Fight Club when it was just him in the parking lot beating himself up.
Yeah, I thought that was like in the scene with his boss. I think that just showed how unhinged he was and manipulative too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know why the boss just fucking stood there. Like that's not a normal reaction to that.
Yeah, no.
That is literally just call security, you know. But it doesn't matter.
I'm ready.
Let's see. Him beating himself up in the parking lot, I found was like, okay, that's strange. I want to know how that scene would go and how he would like get people to his cause.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of oversimplified purposefully to just show that people are attracted to this raw expression of anger.
It's meant to be like outlandish. It's complicated, I guess. How I feel is just something that's just like, huh, you know?
Yeah,
that's kind of how I felt when they showed that. I guess we'll just go on to the end then.
Kind of. I've got this paragraph on the theme.
Oh, when he goes all psycho against that blonde dude too. That was hard to watch.
Jared Leto, yeah.
That was really
That's
tough
funny.
to
He's
watch.
the dude who eventually did the worst Joker interpretation. That blonde dude.
Oh, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah.
And you know what, with Edward Norton, you know who I couldn't unsee in this? The main actor in The Illusionist that I recommended you.
Was he in that?
I thought that was him, the same character.
Okay.
Oh, you mean it was Edward Norton?
Yeah, was it literally Edward Norton in The Illusionist?
See, I don't know. I didn't look it up. I felt as though like I saw like, oh yeah, they're different people.
It was him.
It was him.
Cool. I didn't even remember that. That's so funny.
Because cool. So I thought I saw that. So I was just like, huh, this is funny. I like to think that this happened after The Illusionist.
I completely...
He runs away with the girl, then she breaks up with him, and then he becomes super misogynistic, and then has a mental problem.
Dude, I completely forgot like what anyone in The Illusionist looked like, so that's hilarious.
I only remember that dude, the main character, and the bald cop helping him out.
Okay.
That's about it. Anyways, so that was funny to like think of. You know, it's like Bryan Cranston as Walter White, and then as I forgot his name, the dad. Let's call him the dad.
Hal, yeah.
Al. I want to call him Hugh. I'm terrible today.
Hugh. Okay, so on the themes. So how did you take the themes? Because to me, it kind of shows you the problem with Tyler's philosophy.
Yes,
that's the point. Like, and maybe that's what people mean.
It showed that it went too far, and that's that's pretty formula for any antagonist in movie, comic books, shit like that. It's pretty much I guess I think the Joker, not the best example, but the only one that I can think of top of my head. Yeah.
So one sec. I think maybe a lot of people take away from this like, I'm gonna be Mr. fucking anarcho man who's gonna destroy the system, and like just leaves really angry. And I think maybe that's what people are talking about when it comes to like misconstruing this movie. Right. Just a hunch, because like there's no way that people just watch this and think, oh, fight people, be men. Like, really? I hope not. But yeah, I think what maybe the layer that people miss is that like Tyler's destructive and he's hurting people too, and this isn't the answer. So what I wrote is, the point is that this type of
sorry, go for it.
The point is that this type of nihilistic and anarchistic reaction to a materialistic capitalist society isn't great either. Those involved in Fight Club become vessels for just to blindly follow Tyler's rule. And it doesn't matter if anybody gets hurt. People become disposable at the end of either spectrum. the movie shows that this isn't a solution, but the question remains as to how we should go about it. So that's what I wrote down. That's kind of
was like I lost it. Go for it.
okay. That's kind of what like the same message I feel like Mr. Robot goes for, and like anything that tackles this kind of idea, kind of has to be realist and not just idealist with how this actually like just going full on destroy the banks, destroy the debt, destroy the fucking system. You're gonna hurt a lot of innocent people either way.
See, it's kind of funny.
You have to break it. Yeah.
You know what? That's the philosophy of the Payday Gang in the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they do. That's why they rob the banks, because it's not for the people, it's because of the banks and fuck them and all that shit.
Right.
That same philosophy, I guess. But that was just a neat little thing I just picked up. Anyways, the thing with Tyler is like he's very clearly brainwashing people.
Yep.
That's literally what it is. And like they said, like it was really pretty obvious when they were like, we don't have names, when they said that and started
exactly. They're
chanting and shit. It's a cult. It's a cult.
Yeah, they're just vessels and they don't mean anything either. Like this isn't good either.
Okay, we'll go down to a subjective lane really quick. I think this is one of the best like portrayals of cults in a movie.
Yeah. I love that they all just chant.
It's not just like just hooded people just being like chanting with candles and shit and being like, oh yes, Cthulhu, like no, like fuck off, like make cult interesting. This was an interesting cult. It's an interesting anarchy, fucking toxic masculinity cult. It's cool. So really, really great shit there, I think, even though it's like fucking outlandish as shit.
Yeah, and I loved a lot of the subtle humor in it that you already talked about.
And also,
you said you'd say that. No, you said you'd definitely say that.
Oh yeah, you said you'd definitely say that. See, that's just some like playground bullshit. It's just like you could say that to literally anything I say, you little bitch.
Is this a test? Yeah, no.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of subtle humor interweaved throughout that I really appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah. It also doesn't matter like how good his bottom intention is, Tyler. He's still like bottom line is that he's hurting people and basically just terrorizing them.
Also,
I am wondering now about how that car scene worked.
Oh right.
Yeah, so I guess he was talking with himself and like just hands off, on. I don't know. Like he must have been like fucking spazzing out. Like I want to see the passenger's point of view of what was happening there.
Yeah, for me, like whenever there's something like that, or like the teleporting, or this or that or the other thing, for me, the interesting thing about that, I don't think, oh, they didn't think it through. I think like it's for you to imagine what this would look like in actuality. I appreciate that they don't flash to what's really happening, because that would be kind of like I'd have nothing to chew on.
No, but don't you think that could also like lead to them just not accounting for it whatsoever and just doing that for shock value?
Yeah, but it matters if they did, and to me, I don't feel like this did that. So,
do you have any like other than what you just said before? Do you have any way of like quantifying like if it is or isn't?
If it is or isn't shock value?
Yeah. Or just there for the sake of being a twist or a third act? Because I think it wasn't, and because it calculated for itself.
No, I don't really know what the question is.
I think okay, yeah, that was fucked phrasing. I was saying, for me, in my own like taste, I think whenever I get like a twist like that, I have a knee jerk reaction to be like, oh, this is shit. But like every time now, I've learned to like put that knee down, like hold on, think about it, listen, hear it out. And there's just, you have to like look at all those other scenes and like what it's doing, depending, and that depends on whether or not like it is, if that twist is worth it or not, is warranted or whatever.
Yeah.
If you're not like, you should be able to predict it. It's just if it's there.
There's a clear like distinction about what really can and what really can't happen, and sometimes it's less clear, and that's the fun part. Like obviously, when you see the narrator get to the airport after meeting Tyler, and you see Tyler drive away in like a Cadillac or whatever in the distance, he's not really doing that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, yeah, exactly. It's like it's like they even addressed it in the movie that like sometimes you picture me doing something, or sometimes like I picture you doing something, or is that
But he
something?
turned away when. Oh no, he turned away when he saw that it wasn't his car. But still, we got to see that. We as the audience got to see that it wasn't his car, like inferring that actually happened, or maybe he saw someone else do that and like projected Tyler's image onto that. I don't know.
It's just like
that's just speculation.
That's the thing. Like for me, it's just
I'm not deducting. Like I'm not criticizing the car scene. I was actually just like, I wonder how that worked out, because it probably could.
no.
But like, I mean, in the specifics of that scene, of like what literally happened.
I just don't think anything literally happened. I think he's a little schizo or something.
Also, your cat took its collar off.
Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, I think that's like it doesn't matter. It gives you something to like. You get to picture how that scene really looked when he was punching himself. Like it kind of did a couple times when he first figured out like, oh, we're both the same person. Like it flashed back and showed him like in context of some of those scenes where he was initially with Brad Pitt, like just alone. But it was like just little flashes, and I appreciate that instead of just like, oh, here's the 5-minute compilation of every time that he was actually him and what really happened.
No, yeah,
that's like really
bad.
bad.
That would be overkill. Yes,
Yeah,
that would be like excessive. And it went over like a lot of the big scenes where like any viewer with a brain would be like, wait, what about this? How did this work out?
Right.
Like them fighting, and then it showed that briefly. I'm not saying that it needed to for the car or anything. I was just actually like, I wonder how that worked out. I do think it's important though that it should kind of cover its tracks in that way. At least keep it consistent.
Right. And then at the end though,
handling that.
At the end when he was teleporting, they did do that thing where which is like rare in this movie. They showed what it looked like from the outside perspective, like through that camera, and that was a cool choice.
Him
I
just
thought
getting
too.
like him tossing himself around.
Yeah, and he was just like, shooting at the nothing.
I mean, yeah, but it was. I guess we already knew that as the audience, because by then I'm pretty sure it showed him fighting with himself. Though I will say I did enjoy that choice, because when he was getting dragged and it showed him like fucking like with his hands behind his back, crab walking backwards.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine just doing that? I just thought that was so silly to like think of that like without context. Just him doing that, like doing pantomime with himself. Like, that's hilarious.
Norton was great.
Yeah, you know what? I think Norton like he wanted to be a mime when he was younger.
Right.
So then he just lost it.
He's fantastic.
He lost his mime.
He's actually been great in everything I've seen him in.
Oh, that was funny. That was funny. Come on.
Yes.
All right. Ending.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
very, very ending. I've already like.
Well, yeah. Let me just say my thing about the ending, because it's not really about the ending. It's just I wrote the final shot and the way "Where Is My Mind" lines up with the explosions is honestly, to me, one of the most memorable and epic uses of licensed songs in a film.
I love the inclusion of that song.
Yeah, where the drums hit and it flashes and then doo 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 doo. I love it, and it fades out on that screen. Oh, that's like so memorable right there for me.
I did find that a little cheesy though, and visually. I love the inclusion. I love the inclusion of that song, but I found that to just be like almost, I guess, Scott Pilgrim-y. I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but like it's just really comic booky. But like it's not like it was like a tone shift or anything. I was just like, man, this is campy.
I loved it. Like completely for the reasons I guess you didn't, because I loved how the flashes lined up with the drums and then it just zooms out.
Oh no, I appreciate it. It's just not my taste.
Yeah, and then as it like gets all blurry and like shimmery, it shows the dick for a frame, and then it's the end credits. Which is a nice little callback.
That it showed a dick for a frame.
Yeah.
Was it hard?
Don't think so. I don't know.
Was it circumcised?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I think it was.
Man, you're not a real movie fan if you haven't analyzed every frame.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
So that's the last thing I wrote. I guess if you want to go into the ending, I don't have much to say about the
let's
ending.
see. That last gunshot was one of the ones that fucking hurt my ears.
Okay.
Again, rip my speakers. I mean, it could really just be that I had pirated it.
Right. Yeah, I didn't.
Well, not even pirate. I just fucking got it on like some third party website. So who knows? But if I do pull up the Amazon movie and I play it on my speakers and I experience the same thing, that's when I'm gonna complain about it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's just an issue I had nonetheless. Yeah, I already pointed out my issue with the whole like gun thing. I did.
I guess
I thought it was like the actually like where the gun appears in Edward's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that was like done
I
pretty
like
well.
that. Yeah.
Because that was like a realization for him as opposed to just like, oh, I can do this now. Just
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, a random superpower that just appeared.
Well, yeah, I don't know. A lot of it is like,
oh, and I love the bomb sequence too, where it's just like, I want to pull the green one. Definitely not the green one.
yeah.
And he was like just playing mind games with himself, really.
Yeah, I really like, because I don't know, you can tear it apart all you want, but I think, like, depicting this visually, that's supposed to be all in your head and, like, with different personalities and stuff, there are things that are going to be, like, cognitively dissonant, but that's, like, that's what comes with translating an idea, something that's metaphysical into something that you can view, into it's in like a David Lynch movie. It's like people say that made no sense, and it's like, well, how else are you going to show what
David
happened
Lynch
there?
Movies are very interpretive.
Yeah,
that's kind of the point that he.
But but sometimes it'll be like, how else were you going to depict that? Because it's like more of a concept, something that hasn't ever been visualized, and you're visualizing it for people.
I just only had an issue with the random teleporting.
Right.
Otherwise, it could have like. Well, all it really had to do for, and maybe it did, and I honestly might have missed it, and I would get it on a rewatch. If like in the house where like he pulls a Sans, where it's like you weren't supposed to be there. Like say I walk out your front door, and then I come out from the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just like something that doesn't visually make sense, but then he's just like, oh no, I came back in, you weren't looking, or some shit, to shrug it off.
For Brad Pitt?
Yeah, if that was included in there, then it would just be like a, I don't know.
I think like something like that kind of shows that he's, like, it passes it off as always mysterious. How did he do that? And then like, but it's also kind of, once you know the answer, it's like, well, he did it because he doesn't exist. He did it because he can do whatever. But you don't think of that the first time you watch through, obviously. Did you have anything to say about the actual ending?
The actual ending.
He shoots through his cheek, which for me, it didn't look like he shot at his cheek.
It looked like it went through his neck, didn't it?
It did. It looked like he shot straight back.
Yeah, he was talking. Yeah, first of all, straight back. So I don't know, like, unless he really pulled that trigger, then it would go through his cheek, but it looked like it was down his jaw and like through his neck. So I'm not sure like how that really worked out, but it was gross, and I was just like, no, stop, don't die slowly, like that. God, that shit's like, this movie knows like exactly where to hit me in the uncomfortable buttons.
But I do really,
it's not that hard to. I get uncomfortable easily when it comes to that.
I do really love that that visual representation of how to kill Tyler, which he did. You see like the hole in the back of Tyler's head. Is that like he shoots himself, but he doesn't kill himself. He kills Tyler. Like I like that. I like that idea.
He didn't hit a particular part of the brain.
No,
it was just physical trauma. So like, I don't. I mean, he was dead.
They don't really like explain it to you, but I think that's like okay. I think that's fun. That it's just like it's symbolism for. He shot him, and a part of him, he was able to kill a part of him, which was Tyler.
Maybe it's because he reached his lowest point. Not sure. We're getting into like the interpretive side of it,
which we don't need to do that. I already went into.
If we're getting to like where things happen, I don't think that gunshot really lined up for me all that well.
No, I don't think.
And I thought the reveal of it was really tacky as well. I was just like, really, movie? Like you went and showed us like. Bob's death like really is a matter of factly and gruesome, but then you're just like, you show Brad Pitt from the front, and he's just like, oh, I'm not feeling so well. Like that's cartoonish.
Did he say that?
Or some shit like that. He's just like woozy or whatever, and then it shows the back of his head.
I didn't notice.
It was framed like in a real cartoony way.
Yeah, again, I didn't notice anything to have an issue with there. The only thing is that I've seen it twice now, and both times it seems like he shoots himself through the back of the head, and he shoots his cheek.
He must have really pulled that trigger, but like again, it didn't look like it was through his cheek; it was through his neck.
Yeah, and again,
it's possible for that to happen, if it was through his cheek, but it went down. Looks like, so I'm not sure what happened there.
And that's clearly something I'm gonna forgive about it, because again, like I think focusing on the really small stuff is just kind of avoiding or ignoring the whole picture, what it came together to make.
Well, we can talk about the small stuff and the bigger stuff. But like,
I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with how much we've talked already.
The bigger stuff is fine in terms of that, or like sometimes, but then smaller stuff is something that will like irk you, take you out of it, or like be like, oh no, that's not right. I feel as though like small things are worth talking about because sometimes they can be good things. Let's not pick and choose our meats here.
No, there's good small things and not so good small things. And ultimately, I try not to let it affect like what I overall take away from it.
That's ultimately like with how much of those small things matter to you as a viewer. But like, I still think they're worth pointing out regardless.
Sure.
It's just what that means to you. It's up to you. Anyways, the ending. See what I interpreted as I've interpreted as basically that. Let's see. What I'm trying to figure out what really happens because let's see. Martha walks through, and he tells the guys to leave, and then all of a sudden he starts talking normally. So then easier because before couldn't breathe. So like I interpret that they both like died before they see the explosion.
Right.
Like they like their building blew up first. Or something.
Oh, I thought their building didn't blow up. I thought they only undid the bomb in their own building.
I interpreted that it did because I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you think he fucked up?
Because Tyler closed it.
You think he fucked up and cut the wrong thing?
Well, Tyler was in the van, so like he didn't show him cutting it. He showed him pulling out a plug. So
that's interesting.
I thought in that scene before the ending, like, oh, Tyler just put it back because he was the last one in that van. He closed it and Edward was like, pleading with him. I'm not sure. I don't know about exploding, but maybe Edward died and this is just like how he sees it. Yeah, maybe it's more plausible that Edward died there because then he was talking normally and then like he accepts his fate like so easily. But whereas before he was just like, I don't know how I'd feel about my life and all that, and just that was a very apparent thing. And it seemed there he was like finally content with death. Maybe because he came so close with it, or he was dying.
Right. I didn't interpret the end. I didn't even think to interpret it because I thought that they disarmed the bomb. I thought they watched all the other places blow up, and that's why I was kind of like, I thought it was kind of ballsy, and I kind of liked that it just kind of ends with so unresolved. Like I took it as they're still alive, but all these buildings just blew up. They got Tyler dead. What the fuck do you do now? This is a mess. Like,
he gets arrested, A, or B, he dies.
Yeah.
Or C, gets arrested and gets sentenced to death. But because like he was talking normally at the end to Marty, I thought like, oh, he's dead here. He's dead at this point.
Marty.
Yeah, I forgot her name, so I'm not even trying.
Okay.
That's just what I thought. Unless like he was alive and that was the canonical ending, then I was just like, then why the fuck does he talk normally all of a sudden? His hand wasn't on his fucking neck, so it wasn't like he was like sealing the airflow.
All right.
So it's either an inconsistency or he's dead and it's meant to be interpreted.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give the movie credit and interpret it that way.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have an issue, I guess, either way, but I didn't consider your way. I was just like, okay. so people died and they're kind of in a really fucked spot.
Well, I mean, he also holds her hand and like, would she really want that? Like, she really hates him. It's just like, it seems like that would be...
I think she's really conflicted on him.
I think that would be like, I don't know, out of place there.
I think
I was just like, this is what he wants, and since this is like his like enlightenment after he dies or something, it's like this kind of happens. I don't know.
I think you'd have to be pretty conflicted on him, because of the way that he's two people. But yeah, I don't know that. Then if he just died right there, then I'd wonder why we had the whole Tyler death, why he shot himself at all, why it didn't just blow up with everyone. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
That's true. Well, I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe the building wasn't rigged to explode. There's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. Even though I did just take it one plain and simple way that like they're fine, but the rest of them blew up. And it just kind of leaves it a mess and plays an awesome song, and that's it.
Well, yeah, it's a very Hotline Miami type ending.
That's how I saw it, yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's how 2 ends. Spoiler.
Oh. Yeah, you didn't have to say that.
Whoops. You can just bleep that if you really want to.
Hooray.
People really care about Hotline Miami too, and haven't played it, but played the first one.
All right. So, yeah, you want to do final thoughts and ratings?
It smells like bloody piss on this couch.
Does it?
And I blame Cooper. I blame your smelly cat.
Okay.
It really stinks.
I just smell the chocolate. I guess I'm lucky.
Must be nice, yeah. It's really ugh.
So, yeah, final thoughts. Go for it.
I'm trying to put on my mask so I can not smell it, but I need to talk.
Or just rating, whatever you got.
Well, it was a really enjoyable experience overall.
Yeah.
A fucking ride and a thrill. I was immersed with the characters and their performances.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few parts where like it changed to like to what's her face's like face when she's on the phone and she turned to the camera and I was just like but that's because like I was so like kind of pretty glued to the screen mostly.
Mm-hmm.
I did miss the dick, which sucks, so I have to watch it back just for that. Wonder whose dick that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Just looks like some porn actor or something.
Maybe it's a nude that got sent. That'd be amazing. I really enjoyed the themes. I do feel really attacked when it comes to that, though.
What?
When it comes to materialism and all that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, me too. No, but I really like how it goes about it. All right, yeah, sorry. Go.
I think we've already like discussed a lot of that. I feel like talking about the themes is just kind of like, after you said it, I think it's a little just obvious, I guess.
Sure.
But like, other than like, I really enjoyed it. Cool commentary on that.
Cool.
Though I did find, a disconnect with the whole multiple personality thing. That's going to happen, mostly with the end.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like everything else was pretty plausible. Not what I expected out of Fight Club, but I got a pretty cool experience out of it.
Dank.
We're watching his cat pick at her nails.
Yeah, this is
entertaining. This is entertainment at its finest.
And this is where you slap a number on it.
Oh, I thought you were going to give final thoughts, or did you already?
Oh, no, usually we do final thoughts and rating.
Sure, I'll slap a number on it. I'm, with all being said, I think I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this movie.
Cool. Okay, so the only thing that I wanted to give a wrap up on is, I guess the multiple personality thing, because it's not, usually it's really cheap and not done well, and I think this movie is an example where it was done pretty well, personally. Other examples I can't name because pretty much anything where that's employed, it's a big plot twist. So
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah,
that's done the best. Obviously, he painted the whole idea in the first place for that as in media, I guess.
So yeah, I think it's a great movie. I don't. This movie is harder for me to just sit down and watch all the way through and pay attention to completely, which I didn't get into. Like for whatever reason, it doesn't keep my eyes glued to the screen like a Pulp Fiction, for example. I don't know exactly why that is. There's a lot to love, a lot to keep your attention for sure. I had less trouble with that the first time I saw it, but yesterday I split it up into like a few different sitting. I'd sit down and I'd come back to it a little later, because it's kind of long. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. All that said, 9 out of 10, which is pretty high praise. I think it's a great movie. Not quite a 10 for me.
And cool, that's fair.
Cool.
Also, Deadpool in the comics has multiple personalities. He's got 2 others, actually.
All right.
So,
Deadpool. Let's talk about it. No.
I would love to talk about comics Deadpool.
Okay.
Though he is very like random XD, and it probably wouldn't hold up if I watched it again.
Let's do
What the fuck am I talking about? Yeah, my recommendation.
Your recommendation.
The meat and potatoes for me here.
An album.
Even though we've been talking about Fight Club for how long?
A while.
Quite a while. Yeah, not my album, but like.
Let's talk about your album.
Yes, let's talk about my album.
Monica.
Yeah, guys, I named an album named Monica. Anyways, Remote Control.
Yes.
The Tubes.
It's about TV.
It's about TV.
That's why they're called the Tubes.
Yeah, I'm sure you picked up on all that. Like, it's not subtle in that way.
Not very much, no.
No, but like I do think it's a great concept. Because like this came out in '79, so like you know, no internet then, so TV was the thing.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise now people write songs about like Snapchat or Facebook or some shit, and that would go very well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still relevant, you know, still relevant now in terms of message and concept.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is your first time listening to the Tubes, as well as mine, actually. So
yeah, you're pretty new to them as well.
Yeah, well, this is my introduction to them, and I wanted to share it because I really enjoyed this album, and I haven't really kept that a secret. Yeah. So I want to know what you think, because this isn't really like the other albums I felt like I recommended, or at least it's probably more in the accessible way category, I guess.
Right. I definitely heard some influence from some other recommendations you've given.
Oh yeah.
So I took some notes of that. What do you just want me to go through my notes here?
General thoughts. What do you think about this album?
I don't really know.
You don't know.
That's the thing.
No, that's concerning.
Is it?
I don't know. Why don't you like my music?
Why don't you like my music?
I like your music. Come on.
You don't like all my music, but
not all of it, but like I jam.
No, I don't not like it. It's all very upbeat, right? Let's see what I wrote. Let's just look through my notes.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly. So I wrote that my first listen, I basically had no impression, which was strange. Because usually I have like an idea of how I feel about something.
That is strange. Because I can tell you my first impression was like on the opposite spectrum.
You were bopping.
That. Oh, yeah. I was just like, what is this?
What is it? What is it?
Well, I actually have notes as well, finally,
Radio.
on music. So we'll actually have more substance because
yeah,
we've it's funny here. This is where like we're gonna try to make some adjustments because we've had talk and movie discussions pretty on point. Games a little less, but like
we don't do games really.
Overall, I mean when we do, but music needs help. So we're gonna try to actually like kind of go elbow deep in here.
Yeah, try and take some more notes. So I did. Did you want me to do some of mine, or did you just want to go?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
Well, what do you think about the album art?
I never take note of the art. You always bring it up at the beginning.
Well, it's just a quick like. What do you think of this?
Yeah, where is it?
How do you feel about it?
Usually, art won't particularly stand out to me, but that is quite a thing I'm looking at. I hadn't really taken the time to stare at it, but I guess it's a baby with a.
It's a baby in a carousel with a TV directly in front of it.
A carriage, yeah. A carousel. That'd be funny.
Carriage. Whatever.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a robot that's about to annihilate her.
No, it's a TV.
Yeah. Yeah, but I wonder if that design is at all on purpose. Well, it looks like there's like little nipples coming out of it. Is that the point?
Little nipples coming out of it.
It kind of looks like There's stuff coming out.
Oh
of the
yeah,
TV.
it's like a bottle.
Like it's gonna feed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like force feeding it down, like once you're like born. So like, here's our through line for today's podcast: consumerism and media.
Yeah. Which I didn't. I didn't make much note of what was going on lyrically. I just wrote that one note. It's about TV.
It's about TV.
Because there's like when I did catch lyrics, I feel like more often than not it was just about TV.
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the lyrics. I honestly think the lyrics are really good from when I was like paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not like super poetic or terribly creative. Yeah, there are lots of creative parts of it though that we'll get into.
Yeah, which again, like I don't think everything needs to be. I think if you
Yeah, I'm just speaking generally lyrics.
yeah. They didn't need to be subtle. There's not that much that's subtle about this at all. It's pretty bombastic. So yeah, did you want me to
Oh, in terms of the message, yeah, it's so on the nose.
message, or just like the music is pretty like crazy all the time? I
But
think
there's lots of things going on.
there's a lot,
Sure
yeah.
You haven't picked up on.
So, yeah, what did I write? Very much what I think of when I think 80s, but this came out in 79.
This is 80s. I've said 80s in my notes.
Okay,
I'm just gonna say that.
synth heavy and sounds prog rock inspired. A lot of chorus vocals throughout, like choral. The backing choir kind of.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I there's recurring notes of that.
It's
throughout.
consistently upbeat and theatrical. Question mark. I imagine that's where the Queen comparison came from.
Yes, well, because I told you was on the podcast. I said it was like it's like Queen and Pink Floyd, like thrown in a blender. Yeah,
yeah. I heard someone else in there too. Well, I'll mention that later.
I mean, I've heard a couple other ones in certain songs, but like overall, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. So yeah, typically there's a lot going on. Lots of guitar soloing, synth passages, or other sounds.
Lots of idiosyncrasies.
Very complex.
In the synths and other sounds that they're using in the background. Lots of
80s synth
Lots
pop.
of really interesting choices for chord progressions, key changes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So yeah, super big on the group vocals.
Yeah.
Very, very grandeur, very epic.
Call and response. Yep.
You have lots of call and response, some blues in here. So heavily driven by drums and bass. Like they rule this album.
Yeah.
And there's just so many grooves and licks and shit. So we're gonna talk about this.
Yeah, and I tried to put them in categories, but like I'm just gonna say I don't know. I don't know.
Funny.
I don't know where a lot of these
broke your category thing. That's funny. I didn't put categories in either.
Well, okay, so a lot of the album sounds like like the same, but not as a criticism.
I was like, don't you dare say the same because they don't.
It does, but not as a criticism. Like the album kind of
it sounds uniform, but like not every song sounds the same.
I don't know. I'd say like in the way that you said that about Dookie. That like when you first hear it, it kind of sounds the same throughout, but I'd never say that that's a criticism. So
right.
It's a style.
But I don't think these sound the same like nearly at all.
Okay.
Because there's so many different other instruments and other grooves, other melodies, keys, and things like that.
Yeah.
So, let's open with the first song then. If we're going to go track by track.
Okay.
Turn Me On.
So, yeah. Some of them I didn't have much notes about, and this is one of those. But this one is, I think it became one of my favorites.
Cool. I mean, same here. Actually, it's not in my favorites, but I'll just talk about it. Yeah, it starts out with that 8-bit synth into this groove with the bass. You know,
yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know. I was trying to think.
No, I was trying to remember it.
Yeah, it's just like such a theatrical opening with like the drums.
Yeah, that's what I was humming.
Just that beginning, I can't bump it enough
Mm-hmm.
for me, honestly. It's just like immediately into it, and there's like that small build, like right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get that like groove, and then when the vocals come in, holy shit! It's just it feels so like it just comes all together.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something to appreciate.
Pretty fast paced.
Yeah. I said melody and vocals work so well into this almost choir like chorus.
Yeah, in the chorus, I was looking up the lyrics for it because I remember it being pretty memorable.
Yeah, because I said the
put your hand on the power. Yeah.
And then afterwards, right after that is when the key change happens. That's when I realized I was listening to something special.
Okay.
That's where I was just like, what the fuck? That was the moment where I was just like, holy shit. Okay, this album, this band though. Cause I didn't expect that. But like it just works so fucking well. It's like a good like, bass slide or drum fill,
Mm-hmm.
where it kind of gives you that feeling of like, oh shit, here we go, It really felt as though like you're on a ride. It was a good experience.
I guess I didn't notice it enough to write it down. So I don't know if that means well, like my guess is just that it worked really well because that's the kind of thing I would know if I was like, oh, that came out of nowhere. That's just like they wanted to be weird, but I didn't. Huh.
Let me skip a little bit. There.
Yeah. See, I don't even really.
Everything is something that you need.
I don't even think about that. I'm just, it's implemented really seamlessly.
Well, yeah, but since it's like it's a very like it's a very what is it apparent like key change. So it's just like god damn, and then you go back to like the natural key from the beginning, so they can do it again.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not only they managed like to pull that off in the middle of like the chorus, but like they go back to it, in their when the little instrumental break.
Yeah, I guess it matters who you're talking to about how apparent it was. Most, musicians would probably agree that's really apparent, but I'm like a stupid musician, so I don't. I'm just like, cool.
You're just tone deaf.
Yeah, I'm just like, cool.
Let's see. Yeah, the awesome little synth groove bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know. Just when it plays so heavily with the synths and rhythms. I really love that with that bridge. Also, like immediately, like it establishes the theme of TV.
Yeah.
In the first track,
Yeah.
it just cuts like right to the chase.
That's when I was like, are we gonna have an album about TV? And like, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's really. I think it's pretty cool lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, what is it? Touch the power and turn me on.
Mm-hmm.
So. And you see the title and like you can even pick up some lyrics of just like, oh, it's about love or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and it kind of is. It plays a lot with that and the whole the album as a whole.
Right.
Let's see, and then the call and response with the group vocals for a big finish.
Yeah, I remembered that the end was pretty epic with the chorus repeating with that one melody I was just singing a minute ago.
Yeah. Great melody. I love it.
It looks like it kind of just does that for a while. Like if you pull up the lyrics, then it's the same thing for like the last.
They repeat it like, and they basically just treat the vocals as its own instrument in that way.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's what I remember. And
God, why is my phone being so stupid?
I labeled it as a favorite. But the thing with this album is that maybe if I listened to it more, it would like become more differentiated in my mind and easier to know what I like and what I don't like.
That's strange. I differentiated on my second listen.
Yeah, but you didn't for something like Green Day.
No.
So like
I haven't really paid attention to Dookie, but in terms of that, like, I mean, Dookie's a pretty like similar structure in each song.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're used to. Like, I'll be able to know what I think about something in my style pretty quickly, but if you throw a rap album at me, I won't know if it's a fucking good rap album because I don't listen to rap.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's kind of the same for some of the genres you're throwing at me. And like when most people hear a punk album, they're like, "Oh, it's the same." But I can tell the
I'm
difference.
trying to diversify you.
Yeah,
Trying to train your ears up a little bit.
and it's happening. So
It's happening.
there you go.
Turn me on. What a first track.
Honestly,
Genuinely.
King Crimson could have been a 3 listener. This one may have benefited from 5.
Really, that's so strange.
Kind of funny.
I don't know how that works. I feel like in the core, the Crimson King is a much more like subtle and like idiosyncratic album as compared to this one.
I felt like I understood
There's a lot of shit
one.
happening here, but I feel like there's more shit happening in the court.
Mm-hmm.
So that's strange. I guess maybe if you feel as though you need an extra listen, do it. Then that should be the rule from now on.
Yeah, I guess so. I listened to the first 2 or 3 tracks again this morning, for a 4th time. So
I mean, I've heard this like 6 times now.
yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. So, this one I guess for categories fucks with easily.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Mad fucks with it.
That's why I'm like, I'm having trouble with my categories because I'm like, if it's a favorite, is it a love?
It doesn't have to be, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like this might be my favorite, but like, is this something that I'm like really up out?
If we listen to like a really bad album, you have your favorite on there, but like it can still be a bad song.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it's a bad song either. I just don't. I like so it's one of my favorites. I probably wouldn't listen to it, but if you like turned it on in the car or something, I'd be like, I'd be jamming. I'd be jamming to that chorus.
Cool. Well, I'll be jamming the whole fucking thing. I can't bump it enough. Like seriously.
Cool.
I need it louder.
Track 2.
Yeah, TV is King. This is the one I have the least amount of notes on, but I really enjoyed the song.
Oh bloody, oh bloody. That's what the verses remind me a lot of. So I took note of that. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Yeah, melody. It's not there so much for me here.
And like the instrumental to that melody, like it just totally. Yeah. And I haven't listened to that song in like a year, but it like shot me back to that, and I thought that was funny.
Oh, dude, they're so different. If you put them back on,
it felt very similar from just my memory.
If you only think about melody, sure, but like in terms of like the song as a whole, man, we need to work on those ears.
I don't know.
They're so different.
Well, yeah, but a melody is a very crucial aspect, so it's something to note for sure.
Yeah, the melody is the same, but like that doesn't make or break the song for me, honestly. I'm not huge on it, but I love like what else is going on too.
No, this one I wrote down a bunch of other stuff it reminded me of, so that's funny. It reminded me of Love Roller Coaster by Red Hot Chili Peppers, which obviously that came after, and obviously also it reminded me of The Who quite a bit. It got me in the mood to listen to that Who song that I was listening to earlier when I picked you up.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a Gaslight Anthem cover of it, but
oh well then,
yeah,
fucking. Yeah, that one Who song you were playing. Well, I don't remember. Oh, it's Gaslight Anthem.
Yeah, they covered. Well, I figured you knew The Who. The Who is very your thing, I think.
I do, but I haven't heard a full album from them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, let's see. The beginning was that with that groove.
Mm-hmm.
There's some great shit happening there. Yeah, and I love the ooh. It works so well.
That's what reminded me of Love Roller Coaster. That's funny.
And then it kind of starts out and it's almost like it's like a really like classic rock kind of like, kind of driving thing. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Still some call and response, like right after the verse ends, you get like a piano doing some like chord stuff like that. Let's see. Yes, I'm just gonna keep gushing about this. Let's see. Yeah, the drums and the melody really drive this song.
Yeah,
especially for the chorus.
That's funny because I remember the verses a lot more. I just remember the verses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the TV is good. But yeah. I'll just let you go because what stuck out to me most was the Beatles thing.
I just don't think it's as strong though, nearly as the first track.
Sure.
I love what's going on, like in the lyrics too. I think it can be a bit repetitive though.
Sure.
I think it's one of the more repetitive songs here. It's only 3 minutes, but it's just pretty just verse, chorus, verse, chorus. There's not a whole lot of stuff that we had in the first track in this one.
Yeah.
Well, I still enjoy it.
If it's not clear, both of these, they're just in like.
I'm still not going to turn them down. This one's in high like.
I mean,
put it.
That's the thing. A lot of them are just in like because that's, how I felt. That's why I said you broke my ratings, I guess, because I'm like,
yeah, fuck you. Fuck you.
Don't know where to put that.
Fuck categories. New, what's it?
New order.
New order for the for the Shedheads podcast. Fuck categories. All right. Well, I guess that's it for TV is King.
Sure.
Already. Prime time.
I figured you'd like this a lot.
3 in a row for prime time.
3 in a row? What do you mean?
Oh, for the TV metaphor.
Oh,
in the title itself.
Prime time. Yeah.
I'll give you my prime time for you. Yeah, I love that. That's for me. That's really creative for the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. I figured this
take on the words because it's primetime TV, but I'll give you my prime time.
Yeah, I figured that this would be a fave of yours.
I mean, I fucks with this song.
Yeah, I just wrote that it's catchy. So that's fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love the funky bass and the synth combo. It's like super 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have
the girl singing at the beginning. Or maybe it's
okay, I thought it was a girl, but then
I was like maybe not, but
writing my notes I was like, I mean, I think it starts out that way, but like it's harder to tell later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how it opens up with "Come Fly with Me" also.
I don't know it.
Oh, well, that's a very
so something
it's one of the most popular jazz blues songs.
Yeah, that would explain why I don't know it.
It's like a prerequisite almost for jazz band players.
But not.
Let's come fly with me and yes, just that shit.
So it's not too surprising, I guess.
Yeah, so I literally just wrote that lyric in there. I just thought that was a neat little Easter egg, I guess, or just like haha, cool. Yeah, I think the voice for this song is such a strength.
Yeah,
like, the voice makes it feel like really light and relaxing, but like then the drums and bass and synth like rule the song, like with its driving, with the constant just it's like such a I don't know, it's such a just like an 80s type of like almost disco type of groove,
right?
Like, that's kind of the through line, so then the other instruments can like kind of have fun doing other shit,
right?
Keeps it grounded.
Yeah, and like you said, I think the vocal carries it a lot. That chorus happens quite a bit, from what I remember.
Yeah, a few times, but genuinely, I feel like the song could be like another 3 minutes, and I would be like so fine with that.
Sure,
this one doesn't get repetitive for me.
You kind of get that section at the beginning, kind of happens once, if I'm not mistaken.
The section at the beginning.
Yeah, with the woman, or maybe not, whoever's singing at the beginning. After that section, like it kind of switches it up for the rest of the song.
Oh yeah, well we get to the group vocals, which also like still sound amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time they do group vocals, I kind of just like get a little stiff, you know.
Sure. Those group vocals are very much what made me generally think it's why you said like Queen with the theatrical aspect of that.
Absolutely. It's like impossible to not hear like the Queen influence.
Yeah, if you're more familiar with Queen, which I'm not.
Stay tuned.
So yeah,
stay tuned.
But I assumed.
I genuinely think like for when they do group vocals, it almost makes it sound like it's one voice, you know, like one instrument, you know, and it's like 3 or 4 other people. That's the other thing. There's a fuck ton of people in this band.
I saw. There were like 7 or 8 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
I just saw pictures and it was like, oh. Because I was looking.
There were like 2 guitarists, maybe 3, like 2 or 3 keyboardists, like 3 or 4 singers.
Well, I thought the singer might be black, which is kind of funny, and he wasn't. But I wanted to just see what these guys looked like.
There's kind of a bunch of regular old dudes.
Yeah, that now for sure. If they're still all alive.
I don't know. I'm new with this band. You know how long I take to actually learn about them, let alone their music.
Yeah, I usually try and get a little background, but for this, I just looked up a picture of them. I was like, oh, there's like 7. No, 8.
There's a lot of them. They probably like went through a few different members too. I'm pretty sure they did. But yeah,
that's quite the dude.
He kind of looks like older Markiplier.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. Let's see.
And Batista. You see him over there?
Yeah, I see him.
Oh, that's great.
All right.
Next song.
Oh, already? I had a couple more notes.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Yeah, the beginning groove falling back in for the ending of the song.
Mm-hmm.
Where like it kind of like evolves and it with a synth it really blends it in, you know, where it kind of feels like, oh, we're back here, you know. Like it solidifies the motif.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's the same lick, it doesn't get old, maybe because of the variety in the vocals and the other sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, I guess.
Right.
For me.
For
you know?
yeah, for some things
it does a lot with its motif.
For some things, I'm gonna feel like I need to be more familiar to remember what you mean. But
well, like variety in vocals, some other solo-y, other instrument stuff, sounds happening too.
Yeah, like I trust you that it goes back and does the thing from the beginning, but I can't remember it.
Oh yeah, well, like when you get the group vocals after a chorus, just like yeah, it fades back, and then like another solo happens for like a guitar. Maybe that's later. I think it's in this song. All right, I want it all now.
Now? Okay. Well, why don't you talk about this? And I'll give myself a little refresher because I wrote nothing for this.
Oh, all right. Well, let's see.
I want it all now. Is that like that?
Oh no. Yeah, it's a really interesting. The first note I have is the interesting bass lick before the chorus. And it's like a bridge type of thing where like it plays an augmented type of interval, like do 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 do. It's like it's meant to sound like really like not sure, and then it resolves through the chorus.
Yeah, I like the phasey guitar thing happening at the beginning. Or maybe it's just a synth. I never know if it's like a guitar effect or synthesizers or what.
Let's see. Oh, that's a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, big call and response. Yeah,
I'm a lot bigger on the chorus and the verse and bridges.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make it any less interesting to listen to though.
Right.
Yeah, the chorus is amazing. I just wanted to say
mm-hmm.
it's just so big, epic, and like choiry. I also love like the claps like in there for the beat.
Yeah.
It really, again, it sounds like it's kind of like, I feel like it's got a little bit of soul in there.
Right.
In terms
yeah,
genre.
for sure. A lot of this album does. By the way, I generally have more notes on the back half of the album apparently, so I haven't been saying much about any of these.
I've got about the same amount, except for the last two, but I can talk about the last two of them.
Yeah, tracks 1, 3, 4, and 5, I had no notes, so.
Well, all right.
And I guess the last song, maybe?
Let's see.
No, I did have notes.
Yeah, the lyrics are really simple, but like I love it. You know, just take it one day at a time. I want it all. Yeah,
oh no. Mm-hmm.
And it deepens the themes of like wanting like instant satisfaction from like TV,
right?
And all that shit. You turn it on just so you can immediately get that like dopamine rush to your brain, or
right.
just relax. It started. TV really just started like the whole like. You need whatever you want like right now, like for information or like whatever, which is so accessible now with like internet smartphones that's just kind of ingrained in us.
Right.
They saw what was about to happen and they were like, no.
It's funny. I guess I wonder what they think of TV now. I wonder if they just like, we were boomers.
I mean, probably the same way of how David Lynch feels about TV.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much shit. And I mean,
I'm sure a bunch of people hear this and it's like, oh, fucking boomers.
Honestly, I feel the same way about TV.
They're way older than boomers.
It's trash, and it's way worse now than it was then. Me too. It's like just constant filth.
Well, now it's
like a super huge industry, so like they can just put whatever they want out there.
It's kind of going away now.
Yeah, it's on its way out.
Yeah.
And now paying more way for like streaming services and everything, which is
or you choose what you want.
Marginally better, yes.
Yeah.
For in terms of consumerism, but like,
and if you can pay to not have advertisements and shit.
Yeah, and that's your
choice.
Of itself is a it's a slippery slope to get down to,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm a little worried about. Hell, I'll write an album about fucking advertisements and about how money can be a slippery slope for you pay like a stupid amount just to like have one less ad or some shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's or like they can just end up charging a premium over that. It's like it's ridiculous, and I'm actively against that shit.
Sure.
It's like invasive. But anyways, moving on. I guess that's the kind of thought implications that this concept brings. You know. Let's see. Yeah, it also has a great legato bridge because so far everything here is like pretty, upbeat, punchy kind of sound.
That's like one of the things I noted.
And then you get like a slower like type of bridge with synth stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of slows it down. And the second bridge, or at least second part of it, because it goes on for a bit. It's great with like really rhythmic group vocal melody.
Yeah.
Like they play so well with like what the other instruments are doing. Yeah, it's like walking down my way. It's like it reminds me a lot of "Carry On My Wayward Son."
Huh.
Honestly,
That's funny.
At least in that like second part of the bridge, they're a lot like quicker with them. Like they don't hold out notes for nearly as long,
Mm-hmm.
so like a little more staccato. But yeah, I just really enjoy that little part. It breaks it up a little bit, gets a really cool rhythm, and then it comes back to the same thing when the bass does that same like augmented type of interval to lead into the chorus, and then it just kind of builds with like that one dude in the back going, "I want it all." Yeah,
I was just
it reminded me of SpongeBob when I did that. But yeah, I said the bass driving it, and the other sounds let it breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool little part that kind of breaks things up. Oh yeah, and it stops for the piano part too, where it's like da, 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 and like a really cool like almost lasery sounding synth where it turns into the percussion. Just a really cool another break part.
Yeah, the synths.
You sound confused.
The synths. Well, because I don't remember everything like specifically or vividly about what all the instruments were doing, because there's just a lot to take in. Every song kind of has the synths doing something different.
Oh yeah, and it's like you can listen in, and there's so much shit going on. So like that makes it so interesting and like fun to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It just builds like this whole wall of sound.
And I kind of focus more on the song as a whole, and I don't think about all that goes into it.
Oh yeah, I'm just kind of breaking it down, and like is where it makes like the song as a whole.
Yeah,
like that's what you think of when you're writing shit like this, or other things where it's more involved. You think about all these smaller things, and like that's how it's going to create the song as a whole. Yeah, and I wrote down it never gets boring to listen to with all the stuff that's going on. Almost something new to appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever you're like, oh, like I didn't hear it do this before. I haven't thought about this.
Yeah.
I do though wish instead of fading, like I thought it was building to like something bigger.
Is this
like,
the one that had like
on something?
a really quick fade?
No, it just kind of does the chorus again and then it just fades out. And that I was a little disappointed because it's just like, oh, I was like building to something, with like all the shit that was happening.
Right. I was just refreshing myself for the next
and the song's
song.
only 4 minutes too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it does so much.
Yeah, I'm giving myself a little refresher for the next song.
You see, a few songs on here, I think I heard this album once, and then I was like, fuck, I really want to hear like a 10-minute song by them.
Oh, they probably got that somewhere.
Oh no, they do. I saw on their Spotify, and I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Be a real treat.
The next song I was just hearing, No Way Out.
Yeah, No Way Out.
There's no way out for me.
No way out for me.
I remember a lot of that.
There's no way out for me.
There's some cool little stuff going on at the beginning. They have some nice sounds going on. Usually,
there's a similar structure with the lick at the start that I think is similar to I think TV is King. I'm not sure. I know it's similar to one of them. But it quickly turns into something else though at the start. Like it turns into something different. Like it starts out like a bar of that like kind of bass drum like, and then it just explodes.
Mm-hmm. And listen to that boingy boingy bass.
Boingy boingy.
Yeah. It's very retro sounding.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of retro kind of sounds that like really play into it. Like at the start where I called it 8-bit, I guess. Or like more like a sawtooth type of wavelength. Let's see. Yeah, and the guitar chords really make it feel intense when it's like during the chorus of like no way out for me. Yeah, I can hear. Yeah, you can listen and hear like how the guitar is really helping out those lyrics there. What did you think about this song? What are you thinking? What do you feel?
I like this one too. They've pretty much all been in like
consistently, yeah.
Pretty much. But like there's nothing like it's really hard to commit to some kind of polar for anything. And I don't want to put anything that I think is interesting in meh, really. Even if it's not like a sound that I'm completely attracted to. But I think this one is generally like, I like kind of the urgency in it.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it really does feel intense in areas, and some notes and where it goes to when it's holding out that last for me. It, like I think at the end, like it really holds it out, and then like it really builds to that, and just the choir really helped that. Let's see. So lots happening with the instrumental bridge. Later they get their own segment to build this wall of sound and into this epic guitar solo. So yeah, it starts out with like this bridge of like more or less the same like do 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 do, and then you get the piano coming in with like that same, with that same break from the previous song. I think.
I hear just that drum beat going forever.
Yeah.
Don't stop me! Don't stop me! That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's funny.
Yeah, and then it does that same piano like from the beginning. It was like dun 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 dun, not the beginning, the previous song, and then you get all the sounds, and then like that guitar solo, which fucking just starts ending up wailing. So you get all these rhythmic things happening.
Hearing that now, and then there's that whatever the fuck you call that shit.
What is it that you're hearing?
That. I don't know how you're supposed to recreate that sound out of a human mouth. So,
okay, I was about to say.
So I went.
Are you talking about the percussion?
No. It's that like whimsy, whatever the fuck that shit is.
Whimsy?
The shimmering.
Yeah, it sounds
high pitched.
Yeah, that sounds like
squeaky.
Yeah, that sounds like some percussion thing happening. I'm not quite sure. I actually never even noticed that.
Huh.
So like I said, so much shit happening.
But
it all works in tandem with each other, so it's not like anything that's like actively going against shit. And yeah, that guitar solo like cementing kind of everything, where you have like a longer type of rhythm,
Yeah.
to like establish a melody.
Whimsical.
It's a very whimsical sound.
I remember that YouTube poop. Did I tell you about the YouTube poop?
No, you didn't. You're gonna have to show me later.
With iCarly, and Spencer's like, oh, you know her with her whimsical titties. So funny. Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Okay, next song.
Yeah, when the guitar gets high, along with the falsetto notes, that shit makes my nipples hard.
Oh, is this the one? No, okay, this isn't the one.
Oh gosh, that's like, and then it's just such a fucking climactic ending.
Yeah,
and then they really like it's like, and then they didn't fade out, so I love it. It's as easily a fucks with. No way for me. Lights out. It's a blackout.
This would be up there too, I guess. This one and Turn Me On, like. I don't know.
All shit to run or drive to.
I gotta like reiterate that more listens would have helped. Maybe it would have been like, yeah, this one I like it, but it's like an acquired taste at this point because it's so. Again, it's like out of my, usual.
Yeah, I don't know.
Style.
It's so simple though. It's so simple and complex at the same time. Like it's getting simple things out there.
It's a
Like the
sound
rhythm,
that
but-
doesn't naturally strike my ear as attractive. So like, it needs to grow on me, and then I can appreciate it more.
And now I'm wondering how you're gonna react to Queen.
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea because
Oh, I mean, they're not really as involved either.
with Queen, it's like you just kind of know the big songs. It's like, yeah, they're epic, and then maybe their other songs sound like this, and like it takes more time.
They don't really, honestly. In terms of something like No Way Out or like any of the other songs we said, just because they're not like as involved. They're good. They're great stuff, but like,
Mhm.
I mean, you'll probably end up liking it more because of that.
Yeah, we'll see. No, I like this one, and Turned Me On. Even though I did put 2 in Love, even though I take every position I put anything in with a grain of salt. So
Easily fucks with.
that's why they're mostly just in like the whole album could have just been like not listed as anything. So
Easily fucks with.
Cool.
Have you paid attention to how many he has been in fucks with so far?
like most of
Like
it,
most of them, yeah.
not the second song, but most of it.
No. But then we have Get Overture.
Okay, yeah. So I listed this as my favorite.
I figured it would be.
Okay,
In all honesty.
good.
I was like, he's really gonna like this one.
yeah, it sounds like a soundtrack to like a car chase or a spy movie.
Oh, yeah, well,
Just like some kind of action movie.
weird. Okay, for
That's what
me-
I wrote down, and I said there's a cool transition into the next song,
That
which we can
song-
talk about when we get there.
I don't know. I felt as though it definitely was soundtrack like, but it was
Well,
I felt-
action movie.
yeah, action. I can see this being in a Batman thing, honestly.
Right.
In the beginning. Well, it's such a grungy opening too, and it honestly caught me off guard because of like all that we've had so far.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure why this worked for me because usually I'm not an instrumental person.
It evolves into like this overture beginning, so I get hence the
Mhm.
overture part
Yeah.
of the name.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. So I don't know. Why did you think I'd like it? Because I wouldn't think you'd expect me
Because it
to
was
like.
grungy.
Oh, is it?
A little bit at the
I
beginning.
didn't even notice.
There was more distortion in the guitars.
I was just like, I don't like instrumentals, particularly if like there's one on an album. I'll be like, oh, I don't know where to put this, but there must have been something going on melodically that worked for me.
Well, yeah, it evolves in the beginning, and then you have the synth on top. That's kind of just this melody, and it sounds like it's fairly ominous, honestly, when you take the melody and you take out like kind of whiny, like synth sound on it.
Ominous is usually a win for me.
Yeah, because you have and you have the piano like in the background going. If you can hear that. And then you have like this kind of
Okay, so it's a bit slower, a bit more epic.
Oh yeah, it calms down. Yeah, like when the synth comes in.
The drums are pretty dramatic, and there's just a lot going on. And then it picks up, towards the
and then
when it picks up is when it reminds me of an action movie. So
yeah, I said ominous melody until it levels out to more of a prog rock vibe, accentuated by the guitar playing with the synth. Lots going on here. Yeah, you had a really cool like semi still along with the synth. Like you get like this counterpoint type of thing going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool to hear. It makes it sound way more prog rock. Yeah, then it builds the rhythm. Every instrument just ends up going wild too. It's just like it's just a build, and it progresses into other things.
Boink.
What are you boinking?
Nothing. That's my contribution.
Okay, cool. Does that mean you don't have other things to contribute?
Those are my notes on it.
Okay.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. Do I know what's going on? Probably not. Why should I? Why should I talk about it?
Oh, man. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna say, there's the piano part again from "I Want It All Now."
I did not notice a recurring piano piece.
I guess I noticed that. I don't even remember it. That sounds like it's in the middle. Dirty deeds and from unduchies.
No.
Dirty deeds.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, I think
Let's talk about AC/DC.
Oh yeah, no. In the middle, it goes like da 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 da. Yeah, like the same thing I've been singing this whole time. So I was just like, there it is again, recurring.
Yep, I never noticed that was.
It's so subtle.
Even when you did that now, I'm like, I don't remember that, but apparently I heard it in 3 different songs or more.
Yeah, the instrument's going wild. It goes down like chromatically, so it feels like you're really going down like this fucking hell trip almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. The drums, bass guitar, really driving it forward for the synth to come in and establish the melody, and then like it kind of just builds up higher, and then on the highest note, it transitions right into the next track.
Yep, which was my other note on it, and I love that.
That's like textbook for transitions. Like you build it, you end on a note, and then that note like goes through into the next track. It doesn't matter what the next track is.
So let's go into the next track.
It's pretty different. It's pretty different from what we heard from this one.
Yeah, because I wrote some notes on this one.
Yeah, and I said after the big note, it brings the rhythm back down to a more moderate rock beat, and gives it a really bluesy vibe.
Yep, I wrote bluesy.
Yeah,
you took my note. All right, next.
God damn it.
No, the way the verses are sung reminds me of Hendrix. So
yeah, well, Hendrix is also really bluesy too.
And I noted the sax question mark solo
it's a sax solo
that ends up going to mosquito pitch.
Mosquito pitch, yeah. I was just gonna,
yeah. I figured you'd want to mention that, so I wrote it down.
Yeah, I said it builds with the falsetto group vocals, which I love in this song, into one of the greatest sax solos I've heard, and it's a shame that it's so like short. Honestly, like I want more of that. But then it ends up transitioning into a synth to gives you that mosquito pitch.
Yeah.
And it goes so high you can hear the 3K frequency in probably your headphones because you have studio. Great headphones.
Yeah, I listened once in headphones, and the other 2 times I was driving around.
Yeah, I have no idea what your car's frequency response is like, but let's see, for my gaming headset, which I use more or less for music as well, there's like a very like particular dip right around that frequency, but in my Galaxy Buds there isn't. Like they're pretty damn flat. So when it got that high when I was listening to my buds, I was just like ow ow ow.
Right.
Like it got real like obnoxious, but like yeah, they're flat. And that's just an obnoxious frequency, like no fault on them.
Yeah, I guess this again landed in like.
I ever thought you would have really liked this one.
You did. Oh, I'm not the biggest bluesy guy.
Gotcha. Well, I did write down the lyrics because I do enjoy them.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, back in my own world, nobody hurts me, but down on the shop floor, they show me no mercy.
Yeah,
I dig that.
I remember hearing that.
It's pretty apparent. It's the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it kind of, it's not really telegraphed of when it's going to go into the chorus too. Sometimes it's just verse, and then as they're singing, it just kind of goes into and then yeah, it kind of just falls into the chorus almost in some parts, some areas.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have the falsettos going, no mercy. Yeah, like way up there. Yeah, and sometimes and then one time like the falsetto group just really fucking just drives and just takes the melody over, and it's just like, this is what we're doing now. And I'm just like, oh yeah, fucking yeah, love it. Just this is a song to snap your finger to and fucking tap your foot.
Did I just hear? Yeah, I did.
What'd you hear?
I heard laser beams.
Oh yeah, they go pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
They have really laser beamy type of synths throughout this album.
Right.
This one's my second favorite. If that wasn't abundantly clear. I love this song.
Huh.
Even though it's pretty simple, honestly, in comparison.
Did you say your first favorite?
Nope.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet. Let's see. Yeah, the punchiness of the bass drums makes it almost like a funky blues type.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not just strictly blues, but it's got like a little extra like swagger on it. You know, it makes it tasty. I bet I sound insane to some people who like never heard music described.
Never heard music.
Never heard music just in general. Let's see. It still builds with the falsetto group vocals into okay, I already said that. Chord progression is interesting too.
I didn't pick up on that.
It just goes to one chord at some point in the song, and I was just like, oh shit, never even like thought of that, because I was just like, that's interesting, but in a really cool way that makes it like, you know, not boring to listen to, not predictable.
One chord.
Yeah, I think, or like just a progression, essentially.
Yeah,
it changes it up, you know, throughout.
I think that was the goal of a song. God damn it, May, get off me. That the Smiths did. They tried to keep it like on one chord as often as they could and like make a cool song out of that.
Oh, I was saying like
so that's pretty cool.
No, I was just saying that they went to a different chord than you would normally hear or expect.
Oh, okay.
The progression, not
I was like,
one chord.
I was like, I didn't notice what you were saying about like, oh, they were on one chord for a long time, but
I think they were during the verses. Honestly, come to think of it. But I just remember, like, at some point in the bridge or chorus, they just went somewhere, and I was just like, "Oh shit, huh?" Just like I never thought about that until now, until writing this. Let's see. Yeah, and then when the vocals come back, it's such a great entrance because the other instruments like pretty much drop out for it. Like after that little break there. So yeah, that's all I have for this song. For notes.
Yeah, I gave you mine on it. You went again like in depth. You went like you like took movie notes on this. I was just like, I'm gonna take more notes than usual, so I wrote a little something about.
Well, that's what I did, and then we got this.
Yeah, I wrote a little about like half of them, and that's kind of what I did. And I wrote more general thoughts because I feel like general thoughts are important on an album.
Yeah, I just like going in detail about this, so like it really gives a list or something of like, oh,
yeah,
this sounds cool to listen to. Let's check it out, maybe.
Sure, I just can't respond to all of it, especially until I'm like more familiar.
Yeah, maybe we should talk about a more familiar album next time.
Sure.
Get used to this. Let's see. The next track, Only the Strong Survive.
Okay. So this one heavily reminded me of Hendrix.
Hendrix, really.
Yeah. With the doubled vocal.
Oh yeah, I can see the Hendrix.
Consistent guitar licks.
Yeah.
Call and response with the falsetto vocals. They just do that a lot though. And even the lyrics and the upbeat nature, like everything about this, like the way he sang, really remind me of Hendrix.
Yeah, it's way more of a parent call and response for here than the rest there has been.
Which is, yeah, it just sounds also like I could see him singing that Only the Strong Survive. Like,
yeah, you know, I never thought about the Hendrix influence, but yeah, I say you're on point there.
I hear it. That's mostly what I noted about this, and you're ready to be disappointed in me because that.
Honestly,
it's a meh for me.
This is my least favorite on the album.
Yeah,
actually,
it's a meh.
So I agree. It does support a classic rock kind of sounding guitar. You're not classic rock because it's more like, you know, distorted, I guess, in the beginning.
Right.
I said not huge on the vocal filter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I had in like particular. Also, sometimes he straight up sounds like Roger Waters.
Really?
I don't know if that's what they're aiming for. Oh,
so
yeah.
you heard Waters and I heard Hendrix.
In terms of vocal quality, in terms of influence, definitely Hendrix for a lot of it. But he just sounds like Roger Waters in Animals.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard
how he
that.
sings there. Let's see. I said the groove and chords in the chorus are good, but I'm not so big on the falsetto group here because it's just a lot of you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It just got like
I don't love that.
It just got like they just kept using that, and for melody, I think it works great, but in terms of like the quality itself, I found it to be repetitive and kind of annoying.
Like, it just reminds me of, you know, dance disco kind of stuff, which has never hit my ear the right way, I guess. That's just me.
Yeah, and then I said, awesome. Oh, yeah, there was an awesome guitar solo in here, though, too. And then went all over the place. And it gives such an animal type sound. So I pointed that out here. But more involved and straightforward rock, you know? Also, the semi-scream at the end sounded a lot like you.
Weird. Well, I'll have to hear that back.
Let's see. I'll find it if you want to talk about it.
Dude, okay, well, you do that. I just had a thought. Like, what if we ever lost a podcast? You know how awful that would be?
Oh, dude, I thought about that before.
Because, like, the whole point of these is that we're getting our thoughts out. And, like, if we missed one, or if we just have to... and we'd have to talk about it again. We'd have to re-record it because we said at the end of the last episode we'd talk about it. That would be so awful. Maybe this is the one.
Don't say that.
Okay.
There it is. There. They're the eyes. I'm playing
Where?
it back for him. There.
Huh.
It kind of sounds like you screaming.
Huh. Okay.
Semi, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I usually don't go for, I guess, that quality of the high.
Yeah, but if you went that high, and it would sound really similar to here, is what I mean.
Okay.
As it goes, it's just that little, yeah. Homie. Let's see. But yeah, that's all I have on this one. My least favorite, but I wouldn't skip it still, or even be like, fuck this song. I'd be like, yeah, but it's still bop. It's still bopping, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I won't even put it in meh. Honestly, just low like.
Okay.
Be Mine Tonight.
You're gonna have to talk about this because I guess I also put it in meh. Let me listen. Why don't you start talking?
Yeah, the out the gate with that main melody, it gives such a particular feeling. Like for me, it's like kind of it's emotion and like sentimentality almost because it goes down with like minor seconds and things with the and just the sound that it's using itself is a synth. So that's foreshadowing for the chorus.
It's this one. I thought I was the winner of The Price Is Right. I was just like, oh boy.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
The lyrics are a little.
I don't love that. I don't even know what's really wrong with the lyrics. Probably nothing, but it just sounds a little cheesy.
It is. Well, I think that earlier they had the I think it was on Intivia's King where it said, "I want the girl with the bouncy hair, and we'll take a trip in my brand new car." And then like instruments, and then he's like, "Maybe Jamaica."
What?
Yeah, I was just like, that's funny.
I think like if you're exploring love lyrically, then like it can be fun, sure, but like I like when it sounds more genuine, I guess. And this sounds kind of just funny and hokey.
I'm pretty sure that's the point that it was going for, you know.
Yeah.
In the same way of like, just for tonight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I did feel the emotion, like the chorus, and like kind of nearing the end. The chorus is interesting because of the key changes that it keeps doing every time it kind of goes up, and you'll hear.
Okay.
The hold you the honor, the world you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's better than
be mine tonight. Yeah.
I think it's better than the strong survive.
I honestly wasn't huge on the key change keep going up because it's just kind of like so like, oh, we're doing this now. But I just like let's see. Yeah, though I don't feel strongly about the melody included, though I respect and appreciate the creativity of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
Like I appreciate that they fucking went for that, you know?
Right.
That's just cool to me. But then like right when it pays off with the be mine tonight, you get that main melody back from the beginning again. So the dun 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 dun.
Right.
So it feels like pretty emotional there in a way, you know. It's a very particular kind of emotion as opposed to like more a general like heartache or whatever.
Right. For some reason with that Price is Right line is probably when I put this in meh.
You're still stickler for lyrics.
I can be. Some lyrics just make me be like, gross. But like that's a completely subjective thing. So I wouldn't really hold that against the song that much. It's just it didn't do much else for me. It's like it reminds me of a lot of other ones on here, but like kind of just what he's just going on about like, hey baby. Like I was just I don't care.
Well, if you remember the themes of like, you know, the album and like, apply it here with like, you know, consumerism and like, you know, materialism, all that kind of thing. It's just more like of a more status thing as opposed to like actual love.
He wants her tonight for instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly. Hell, my dad has a song named that, or What is it? Oh, it's Instantaneous Intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
I told you off mic too that definitely this album had a lot. I can hear a lot of influences on one of the albums that he did.
Right.
So yeah, cool stuff. Then we get to the last 2 tracks. If you're done with this one,
Yeah, I'm done.
cool. Love's a Mystery. I don't understand, and I don't have notes for this one, but I'm still be able to talk about it
Okay.
just because he got to my place quicker than I thought.
So you don't have notes for the last 2?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't finished writing.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about here.
I'm guessing this isn't your favorite.
Oh no, this is my top favorite. I love this.
Oh,
song.
it is. I was like, it's either this or the last one, and I know that the next one has this big grandiose stuff. So I thought you would have gone with that, but no, this is the other one that I put towards the top, which wouldn't be that hard to figure out knowing what I'm into.
Yeah,
but like
I figured, but
it still didn't hit like quite as much as I wanted it to, but it's definitely a top for me.
I love the song.
Yeah,
that piano opening.
Yeah,
God damn.
I wrote
makes,
that.
that is such a sadness you feel.
Ballady and slower tempo.
I love that
tempo.
Yeah,
Piano led and more straightforward, catchy melodic lyrics.
Yep, right on the money.
I was pretty down with it.
I love that it opens with almost real in the lyrics.
Right.
Like, oh, damn.
Almost real. Yeah. I like. Yeah.
Almost real.
I feel like if there were more moments like this on the album, then it could have stood out a little more, because it definitely did stand out apart from the usual more kind of off the wall kind of aesthetic of this
Right.
album. Like this was more just straightforward, sweet, and melodic.
Yeah, I could feel the life flow.
Really like
to
the
my
piano.
veins. Done. Now it's done. I have fallen for the final time, and I can't get up again.
Yeah.
Love's a mystery I don't understand. See, now here I heard, honestly, some Boys to Men in there for that, like,
Who I don't.
choir soul type of,
Yeah.
they get a bad rep, honestly.
I don't know them.
I
I know they're like the pop band of the. They're like the 1D of the early 2000s, I think.
They get, like, such shit, honestly. Like, every time I say it, people go, like, fuck? I'm like, what? This sounds so good.
Well,
and, like,
yeah, because again, like,
they're so talented also.
they're supposed to be like the 1D or Jonas Brothers of,
Yeah, but
of that time,
but it's soul.
but then like
It's like, it's not soulless. It's pop. No, it's not pop. It's soul.
but then the
It's the other way around.
then the Beatles were also the 1D of their time.
Exactly. So it's like, I don't know. This is my my stance against people who roll their eyes at Boys to Men. And if you still do, I got some song recommendations for you.
I don't
There's some good shit. Okay.
I don't even really know them at all. So.
Basically, it's just a lot like this chorus, and that's them. You know?
Right.
But yeah. The piano goes throughout, and then, oh man, the fucking guitar solo. Holy shit.
I guess
Fuck the guitar solo from Comfortably Numb. This is it.
I guess I need to find that.
Some shit like that.
Oh, okay, here it is.
Oh yeah, and then with the choir in the background. Oh my god. Jizz in my pants right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fall back to the chorus isn't as strong. It just kind of like stops.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, and then back to the chorus. It's like, fuck, that is so emotional and just so great.
Yeah, I think it's the best one that had vocals.
I want to hear this one.
I guess.
I want to hear this one live because they have that on a couple of their live stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure you could.
So I'm excited to check that out.
I'm sure you could find this a live recording.
Yeah. I feel ashamed for like only talking about this like this much.
Well, you
song.
didn't write notes
Yeah, I
on
didn't
it.
write notes for it, but like I just pointed out like such great things about it. I guess that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I need to go into. Like I got my general thoughts kind of are supposed to explain what I liked about it.
I really want to
Or
cover
didn't.
the song. I really, really want to.
Do it. Do it up.
I don't know if I can though. There's so much going on, so I have to like change a shit ton of it.
No, you can sing it.
Yeah. No, I can't. I have to get someone else for that. I can falsetto, but like, yeah. Anyways, Telecide.
Okay, yeah. So I thot
end
this would be
song.
a favorite of yours.
Oh, it is. I thought it would be a favorite of yours. What? Don't you sigh like
Well,
that.
we're on TV again. Obviously.
Yeah.
What did I write? Sounds manic and super ADD, like a commentary on, well, TV.
Well, also life too. When you like listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
It starts out really. Wait, does it start out intense?
TV suicide.
TV. Yeah, such a funny thing too. TV suicide. Television.
Takes a break.
It starts off with like a really soaked in reverby type of guitar sound. The do 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 do, like almost like Nirvana type.
Wait, play that again.
Okay, I'll play it.
Oh, okay.
And then it comes in with more chords. Yeah.
That reminds me of the Screamin' Funny games.
Pretty Pink Floydy. Oh yeah, that does remind me of that too.
That's funny.
But it is Pink Floydy.
I wonder what that opening chord is.
What? Which one?
Yeah, that.
It sounds like just going back and forth between like E and B, like a fifth.
No. The thing before that even starts.
Really?
That.
I still didn't hear it. I still didn't hear whatever.
People can hear that. Totally. No, just like the little noise before the
I didn't even write it down, but like, oh fuck, what song was it? Hold on, I need to look back through my notes. It was Prime Time. Yeah. I wanted to point out a drum fill that I just love so much when it goes back into the chorus from there too. It's after an instrumental thing, and it's just.
You really don't know what the noise right at the beginning, just that little whatever. It's like a chord, huh? There.
It's going.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I just hear a chord being like strung out. It reminds me a lot of that Smiths intro.
Or maybe it's on a delay. That could be the case too.
Yeah, it reminds the one that I keep playing in the car, and you're like, oh, you're getting me into this. How soon is now? It reminds me of that.
It might be just like two notes, and then the rest is on delay, so it's just like kind of repeating it.
But it's the same note, I think, so that'd be an F sharp. Neat.
Cool. So. It's like a really intense beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Out the gate,
and then TV. That's most of the song.
Well, yeah, that's the chorus. But like when you get the verse lyrics, it really reminded me of Bad Religion, so that's why I thought you would like it.
Wasn't like you didn't request I looked at lyrics, so I didn't.
I thought you would have picked up on it because you pay attention to it anyway.
I was mostly hearing the TV suicide stuff.
Well, there's like the repetitive stuff. You know, like right in the beginning, it's just a day job, night job, odd job, nose job, hand job,
right,
job,
right,
job,
okay,
snow job, boring 9 to 5 job.
Okay, so that's what I was actually describing. Then I just forgot about it.
And even though like it's repetitive for melody, since it like just rattles off that shit, I just get into it.
That would be
it kind of sounds like we're gonna lose our fucking minds from all this shit.
Right, that would be what this note was at the beginning. That it sounds manic and super ADD.
Yeah.
That would be what I was referring to there. Yeah, it takes a break in the middle for some solos, guitar solos, and a talk box solo, I think.
Oh yeah, that talk box is like fucking crazy. Not like nothing I heard a talk box really do, because they just like go nuts on that. You know, like you sound like a fucking maniac when you try to do that with your voice.
And then eventually abrupt stop into a slow outro. But that's the end of the song.
Let's see. I'm sure you remember the lyric of "I need a TV dinner."
Yep.
Yeah.
That reminded me of
feeling so much thinner. I need a TV dinner. They said TV dinner quite a bit during this album.
I didn't notice that, but I noticed it on here.
Well, I only noticed it after like 3 listens, so I was just like, they say TV dinner. Like this is like the 3rd time they say it or something.
Yeah.
And then just I'm mad as hell and I'm not gonna take it anymore. TV suicide.
So, what's the song about?
What a lovely way to die. The television suicide.
Yeah.
See, okay, I thought I thought it's
This one's pretty jammy.
I thought it kept saying teenage suicide.
I thought so. Well, it was obviously wasn't because the name of the song, but like it sounded like he was, which is an Unwritten Law song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was teenage suicide.
Teenage suicide.
I think that makes a little more sense to derive a meaning from it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I guess what I interpret is like, if you're like you're so enamored and lost with TV, you're basically like throwing your life away, and that in a way is suicide.
Yeah.
So like, if you're just gonna be like stuck to the couch and eating TV dinners, watching all this shit that they also name to in the song, then that's what it is. It's a telecide.
Right. And
so in a way,
it's
they would be against what we're doing.
Yeah.
Which is like mass consuming media, sitting on a couch and just talking about it.
Well, at least we're getting something out of it.
I guess. I mean, well, since we're using our heads instead of just like mindlessly like watching shit, we care about the media we consume, which is why we're talking about this so much.
Yeah, I mean they made
so hard on shit.
They made some media to consume, so
yeah,
we did
Let's
it.
See. Yeah, because we got some news, hot news, flash news, trash news, funny news, stupid news, comprehensive overviews.
Mm-hmm.
Cool shit. I love it.
And
I love the lyrics here.
It's pretty jammy, like I said.
See, I didn't even see this part at the end of it. Eyewitness TV news brought to you by Gucci shoes. I didn't know that last line was there.
Advertisement.
Yeah, exactly.
Propaganda. Yeah, it's very anti-machine.
Yeah, see, I feel like this song is just like, hey, for those of you in the back, in case you missed it, here's the point of this whole album.
TV suicide.
Here's the shit that we hate, and we're mad as hell, so, like, quit it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They should have named this album Mad as Hell.
Mad as hell.
I should name my next album
do that. Do that.
And
then name the next album Sad as Hell.
Sad as hell.
Oh, man. So that's it. That's Remote Control. I also discovered yesterday that there's an extended version.
Oh, I saw that.
Did you listen to those songs?
No.
They're not that great.
Oh, okay.
Sadly. I mean, they're decent. But like, I don't think they stand up to the quality on here, which kind of sucks because it's the extended version, so it's like, I don't know. And the ending song doesn't feel nearly as conclusive as Telecide.
Right.
Telecide is a finale,
What do you feel about the rest of their music that you've heard, though? Or have you not checked other stuff?
Well, actually, I was anticipating you asking that, I guess. This was going to be it, but then I went ahead and listened to another one of their big albums, The Completion Backward Principle. What a name. Also, it's a really good album for genuinely, but I don't think it holds a candle to Remote Control. The top song is like in their top 5 most played, which is strange because I'm like, it's really good, but like, actually, yeah, it's good. And just maybe not like the most special thing so far.
Right.
But yeah, really good. I guess that's my lightning review of it. I've only heard it 1.5 times now.
Right.
Already for that album.
All right. So I guess we could say final thoughts and ranking, but I haven't rated it.
Well, you have to rate it now.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yeah, so like after all that fucking music vomit that I just like chucked into this digital format where you can sit and listen to and become a puppet of the media.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you feel? Would you listen to this again?
Would I wouldn't just put it on and drive around. I'll say.
Okay.
To be fair, I haven't done that with really anything we've talked about, but like I would for some of them for sure. Like I'd be like, oh yeah, I could revisit that. This one, it's like, again, I would take a song or two from here and put it on that playlist that I need to make eventually, of just like all the bangers across the Rex you've given me over the year. like I would put on Love's a Mystery probably.
Yeah, there's a lot of playlist songs in here for me at least. I've got Love is a Mystery, Turn Me On, Telecide, that shit.
Right. And just like generally, even when I enjoyed songs for what they were, but not like as much for like, it was more I respected it than I enjoyed it. You
Right.
follow?
Right.
Like I respect all that's going on with it. Like Jimi Hendrix or something. Though I don't know. I'd say I probably enjoyed this maybe a bit more than Jimi Hendrix personally,
Okay.
but like kind of around there, which I think that was like a 6 for me.
I think it was like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna put it there. Like I don't say strong or light, but it would be on like the stronger side.
That is wild for me. So you give it a 6?
I guess so.
That's wild to me.
Right, because as we all saw coming, you're about to give it a number.
This is easily one of my favorite albums now, like of all time. So it's getting a 10.
Right.
I can like wake up and tell myself like if I do these things and like or just whatever, I can use listening to this album as a fucking reward mechanism for me. I enjoyed this so much, so heavily.
That's awesome.
So easy.
I'm glad you got an album like that.
Yeah, recently in like
discovering something like that is always great.
I would probably say top 5.
There we go, everyone. You found a gem. Your dad found you a gem.
Yeah, my dad found me a gem, and now also a new band to listen to.
Right.
Because I really did enjoy that other album, Backwards Completion Principle. But that album, I mean, it has a song on it named "Attack of the 50-Foot Woman." So like,
nice.
Take that as you may.
Right. We managed to go pretty long today. I didn't really know that was gonna happen.
I honestly figured because of the stuff we were talking about, the amount of notes I took on this album, the amount to unpack from Fight Club. I know it was gonna be a lot.
Right.
But I did enjoy the what we explored in the conversation.
Right. But also, just because you mentioned like you feel like you don't find any music I like, but I don't know what you're shooting for because I haven't gotten a 10 out of you for music. The highest I've gotten was a 9, and it was when I threw Jeff Buckley at you. It was a total like risk.
Yeah, that was a risk and a half, and that's probably
wait, maybe
not a risk, but
no, yeah, you gave figure 8 an 8, which was probably the other highest
figure
thing.
8 and 8.
That's probably the highest thing other than that.
Jeff Buckley got a 9, and then you gave me To Dagger Him, The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me.
Yeah, okay, so that was a 9.
That was a 9 at the time, and I'd probably give that a 10 now.
Right.
So you did get a 10 out of me, asshole.
Well, by now I did, but yeah, I don't know what you want from me because an 8's like a really good rating, and I know I've given 2 or 3 albums you gave me an 8.
Just like my shit.
Yeah, well, I do.
I want another ween.
I think you'll find it. You just gotta be patient.
I don't know, man. This wasn't it. I'm just gonna give you like some obvious things we have to talk about again, like Dark Side, where it's like just big dudes.
Hey, I
big
gave that
boys
an 8. I think I don't even remember.
Give it a 7.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. If you gave it higher than me, I would have been like, all right, we're gonna have a talk.
Okay, I thought we both gave it an 8, but I guess I don't know. I have it written down somewhere.
I think we both gave it a 7. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But you're gonna get big things like that. I want to enjoy this shit and some other albums too.
Exciting.
Good stuff. So what are we doing?
Well,
what next? What now?
Recommendations from you first. Which is exciting because you're gonna basically determine what you're getting right now.
Okay.
You hadn't thought about what you were gonna give me, huh?
I guess, I mean, it's just going to be like kind of a fart recommendation.
Go for it.
But like not, because it finishes off that like gimmick I did like a month ago now.
Yeah.
Of like over a month ago. Where I need to revisit it as well.
Right.
You're getting a movie.
Yay!
That's solid.
Okay, so you're getting an album then.
Oh, good. I need more music to listen to.
That's good.
No, I've already listened to a bunch of shit. Okay.
I get hyped for your music.
All right. You're getting
old Be hyped for my music
that I need to revisit.
Okay.
Only seen it once, but it's come up a few times. Even today it has. You're getting One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Cool. All right. Yeah.
It's gonna be an English assignment pretty much up in this shit.
I did watch it for English. Even though
I didn't. I looked at it all on my own and like tried to read the book and was just like, my sixth grader brain can't handle what's happening here. So
That's far from a fart, I will say.
well, it's a fart, and then I was just like, oh yeah, it's planned. It was just like, I want to the cuckoo's nest.
It'll be
I was
fun.
excited to talk about remote control. I
Yeah.
was excited to share it, so I could finally just sit in the car and be like, dude.
Well, hey, to be fair, maybe this rec is like in line with when I gave you funny games because I was like, this is so great, so exciting, and then you're like, 5. Like,
True.
so
It happens.
It happens. Yeah. Don't be mad at me.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just like disappointed.
Yeah.
Just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I haven't had a hit since the White Album. Some shit. I don't know.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
So
Jack
yeah,
Nicholson.
I'm trying to think what I want to pair up with that. Because usually I never think about that. I think whatever we. Oh shit! Maybe today's episode comes out on Christmas Eve. So this next one will be like right before the New Year. What should bring us right into the New Year? All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and give you something. That isn't too out there this week for me to give you.
Okay.
I think you'll be happy.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you the Smiths.
Yay.
I'm gonna give you
Yay.
The Queen is Dead.
The Queen is dead.
Yep.
Oh boy. I'm looking forward to this. See you're being an asshole now.
Why?
Because you're like, yeah, I'm giving your album a 6. It's just like you say you try to say that you've never gotten a 10 out of me, and here you are giving me the Smiths, and I'm probably gonna really love it.
Well, I hope you. That's the point.
That's the point. Yeah, asshole, quit doing that. Like, let me shit on it.
No, you'll give me.
All right, the Queen
stuff
is
too.
dead.
The Queen is dead.
It looks like a death metal cover.
That's funny. So it's not a very long album. And
37 minutes.
It will click for me pretty quick. So I think you should be able to not have an experience like I did.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll be able to have a discussion about it next week, even though I'm new to it as well.
For sure.
Um,
And then as our
sorry,
I was just going to say, and as our fiscal year closes, we're going to be exploring even more new shit. Because that's what I plan on doing.
Oh yeah,
I've got like 4 movies lined up in my watch list on Letterboxd that
okay, perfect.
I literally never heard of, but I was just like, you know what, I'll check it out, and then I'll toss it onto here, good or bad.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I'm glad you're finding new stuff because I'm always looking for new stuff, and that's why I don't feel like I'm low on recommendations ever. But yeah, I wanted to give you this album because I'm new to the Smiths. I have a new friend who showed me some great music, and this was among that.
Dun, 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 dirty
Yeah.
deeds and from under.
All right. and this now I'm totally lost. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's just in my head since we've been
Okay, so yeah,
basically heard the album again.
my music recs have been like kind of the stuff that I listened to when I was 12.
Oh, right.
I've been giving you Linkin Park and
Like
Blink.
Giants as well.
Yeah, Blink and blah blah blah. And now that I finished off my big recs with Fight Club, though this is quite a giant in its own respective way to its genre.
Well, same thing here for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to give you that and not something more niche that I just wanted to talk about because you gave me something big and important, so I thought I'm going to throw that at you too. And we'll finish off the year with something big. We're not going to do year-end lists or anything because there's really, I don't think either of us have really consumed much of anything that came out this year aside from games.
We can do that.
We could do games,
We
but
do games.
we could just fit it
Could
in.
just talk about whatever.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know what? I have an idea. I'll swing at you.
Okay, yeah. It might come out as an extra or a supplemental or something because I don't know. we'll figure that out on our end. So we'll end today's here. Tune in next week for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Queen is Dead.
Yep.
That's pretty exciting.
And keep an eye out for maybe even some other like supplemental podcasts that don't fall in line with like your expected scheduled program.
Sure, yeah,
of the
maybe
Shedheads.
maybe we'll add something here. Yeah, should be bangers next week.
Oops, all that's what to me. That's what this album was. Oops, all bangers. That's it. That's summarized. So
Hope you like the Smiths. I'm looking forward to seeing.
With the TV analogy and everything, tune in next time.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So awesome.
Cool.
Let's blow out this candle.
All right, blow out the candle.